Oh, wait a minute. Ignore that.
Hello.
Hello, no signal.
No signal.
Are you getting audio?
Yeah, I'm getting audio. They can hear it.
Here we are.
Okay, I don't know why that was.
That would be a good podcast name.
No signal.
Yeah.
Think so.
We're changing it.
Should we zoom in like last week?
This is the starting.
Yeah,
We'll
this is
start
like
out,
a-
zoomed out.
This is called
All
an
right, I like
establishing
it.
shot.
I like
Eventually,
it.
it'll look better because we'll do stuff.
It
Yeah,
is.
we're
You know when you watch a
establishing.
movie and like it starts like it's on the camera's on
There.
a big jib, it's way up in the air, and it slowly comes down as the family car drives up into their driveway. That's
now
an
it's
establishing
now
shot.
I get-
all
yeah, I
the
get-
drone
yeah.
shots.
Now this is
Or
a very-
satellite shots. You want a really good establishing shot. Go to a satellite.
Yeah.
Google
Here's
Google
the Milky Way
Earth.
galaxy. Here's the solar.
You get the contact. You say, what the hell? Now I'm cut out.
All right, I'll zoom out on that
So
one.
Jay's back from
Jay's back.
Alaska.
Say hello.
Hi.
Hello,
Hello.
Jay.
Hi everybody.
How was Alaska? Cold.
No, it wasn't bad. I mean, I was there in the summer. It gets cold the higher up you go.
Yeah.
I sent Ian some pictures. I can quickly just give you guys a quick 1-2 on some of the things. So, all right. So the bottom line is, I went to a town called Girdwood, which is about 40 minutes west of Anchorage. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember the map. Bottom line is, Anchorage. I saw a lot of strip mall activity in Anchorage. I didn't really see like a downtown area with taller buildings and stuff like that. So I don't really know if that exists.
It's amazing how fast the brain works. When Jay was in the middle of the sentence, strip, my mind went to three places before I heard mall.
Before strip and mall. Yeah.
So, so when we left Anchorage, we're driving literally towards the mountains, and it's quite obvious that you're entering in like this massive network of mountains. And then as you get in, you're just simply surrounded by mountains the whole time, and it's gorgeous. So the mountains are largely covered with spruce trees, which are my favorite conifer.
Until you get above the tree line.
Yeah, I mean you could see it when Ian finally gets those pictures.
Wait, we didn't do the intro. Hold on. Welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, the something or something. What is it? Wednesday, the 13th of August. Today we're talking about cancer. Salt's not salt, which I have not prepped the guys on, so good luck on that one.
boy.
Post-brain op, not OP, overpowered, but op. Jay is back, and RNGMS germs TikToks. All right. So that's what we're doing. So welcome to Wednesday. Hello, everybody. All right. So back to whatever the hell Jay was talking about. We'll do a screen share. That's not what it is. Oh,
So
it is
you're
what it
at
is. Boom.
sea level.
I
which
can
is
see.
funny. Yeah, so this is a very typical.
Really? Or it's sea level?
I can
You are.
see level.
So this is a very typical view, and if you look 30 degrees to the left or right, you see something else that looks very similar to that. Like they're just mountains, and they have a really cool, like that mountain has a lot of character to it. It actually comes to a point and all that. There's a lot of that.
It's quite fractal.
Yeah, it's really, really
yeah.
amazing. So you can still see that there's some snow that was left over from when it snowed last. Was probably in
Well, you think if that's August, you think it's there the whole year round? Like it never doesn't have.
Yeah,
snow?
yeah. There's snow up there all year round.
Yeah.
Really?
I also noticed that in Alaska that when the sun's on you in the summer, it's hot, and when it's not on you, it could be like,
right.
yeah, I need a little jacket. It's really, really temperature difference like that, like from 1 second to the next. Let's just quickly scroll through. I don't
And
want
that's
to
above the tree line. You know how you can tell?
because there's no trees.
There's no trees. That's right.
This was taken out of
Your car window.
the car window, but I had to take it just because it was just so freaking cool. I wish I didn't open the window for some weird reason. Go ahead.
It's scary. Here we go.
All right, so
It's a glacier.
we went to see this
How
glacier.
glacier
Now
is
that
it?
glacier might not look
See,
big,
man.
but if you, all right, so let me see if I can give you an idea. Do you see where the water touches the glacier, and do you see like a little bit of like a black mark that's at the bottom there, like maybe right off my left hand shoulder? You'll see like little marks that are right on the water. So if my boat was there, it would be inside one of those black marks.
Yeah.
That's how big that glacier face is.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
So it's
and
like what, 20 feet?
No, it's very far away. So the cool thing about this is that when we were about a half a mile away, say, or maybe 2 miles away, it's hard to tell on water, the temperature outside was great. But when we approached the glacier, it got cold enough where we all had to put on our cold clothes because
Yeah.
it got really cold.
Because it's ice.
Yeah, so there's a ton of ice.
It's like being in a freezer.
And one thing I noticed, which was really unexpected and cool, was that like there's the front piece, and then you'll see like a ridge and then another ridge behind it.
Yeah.
And when the boat got closer and I looked up, I could see parallax happening because there was like so many humps of that glacier.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It
can't.
gives you a sense of scale.
It does, and I realized this thing is, just fantastically huge. I didn't see any cavitation.
Well, that's the thing. Like when I saw the Grand Canyon, and there are birds flying in the canyon, it gives you a sense of scale that you can't get from any picture.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's a good skeptical point that
Yeah.
pilots can't tell how far something is away from them by simply looking out the window.
Right.
They just have no idea. They have nothing to compare to. So another cool thing was as we got closer, they picked up a chunk of ice from the glacier, and then they put it in drinks for everyone to have.
Oh.
And because they lose ice particularly in the summer. What I
Organic.
found out though, it wasn't a million-year-old ice, which I thought would be a really cool thing to say. Hey, I drink water that
Just
was
a half a
years
million
old."
years.
No, it was actually from
that year.
that
season.
year's snowfall,
Yeah.
because all the exterior stuff sheds
So
first.
it was ice.
It was
Yeah, but
just-
how compressed could it get in
it
a
was,
year?
It was ice. It was solid and crystal clear
That's ice,
from what
baby.
I saw. Yeah,
Wow.
again, this is what you see. I have a picture coming up where we stayed in the Airbnb, and my view right out the kitchen window was ridiculously beautiful. So
Let me
this,
see.
I took that. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
I was there.
It's pretty.
Just gorgeous, like unexpected. This is one of my favorite pictures. It really gives you the sense of scale, and the trees, and like there's that's not grass. It's more like shrubbery.
Shrubbery.
A shrubbery.
And
Make it a nice one.
and just to give you an idea, the steepness of these mountains is extraordinary, and they are largely impassable. Like you really can't hike up one of these mountains. You'd have to do
Doesn't look
something
that
that has
steep.
what do you call it when the trail goes back and forth?
Tax.
Winding.
No.
Zigzag. Serpentine.
Yeah, somebody will say it. Like when
Right.
they'd have to build that.
So the grade isn't so steep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it track? Something to do with track? I don't know.
Sure.
Tack.
Go ahead.
Like I said. No.
Go ahead.
Track.
Switchback.
Switchback.
All right, so this was out the kitchen window of the Airbnb that we were in.
Ooh.
And the mountain and cloud play
That's pretty cool.
was switchback. Thank you. The mountain and cloud play was happening all the time. Like for some reason, the clouds love to be at the top of the mountains, and I don't know. It's probably altitude, whatever, but it wasn't like 100 feet above. It was always like on the edge like that. So
Everybody on the internet knew it was called.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if ever it's
Yeah.
a Swordback.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you,
thought-
everybody.
everyone.
these guys are stupid.
Dumbass.
We went blueberry
You dumb-
picking because there's wild
Oh.
blueberries all throughout Girdwood, and this was like within the 2 weeks to pick.
Look at those
and
ferns.
it was amazing. Yeah, it's tons of ferns.
Wasn't that a movie, by the way, Switchback Mountain?
I think so.
Yeah.
You know what it was.
About something different, but sure.
So this
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
the
yeah.
the internal forest looks like. So if you went into any of those spruce and hemlock forests, like this is the ground cover. That's how gorgeous it is. Let's,
I think you sent me a screenshot of a Google search, Jay, by the way.
I did.
Yeah, here it is. Image 3625 is a digital file image. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I wanted to know what an HEIC was.
Oh, yeah, high efficiency image container.
Yeah.
The iPhone one. Anyway.
So this was
Yeah, go
this was when we went to a company called Seward, which is right on the company, a city which is right on the water, and it's a really awesome.
You know what that's named after?
Seward's Folly.
Seward's Folly.
Yeah.
The guy who purchased
Yeah,
Alaska for the
yeah.
US.
A lot of people thought it was a stupid idea.
And the U.S. bought it for like a 10 million, or
$50?
something crazy low at the time. Anyway, just a beautiful view. You know, mountains everywhere. Like I said, you're in the mountains. You're inside the mountains.
Oh, wait, here's mountain.
Another one.
Then
What's
we'll
the
play some
cloud?
videos.
What's the cloud doing, Ian?
What's that cloud
it's
doing?
stuck on the mountain.
Stuff. All right, here's some videos. What are those? Harbor seals?
These are sea lions,
Or sea lions, you're right.
and they.
Oh, yeah, they're massive.
You're not going to be able to see them that well here, but what's funny is like they have two pools to go to, and these two sea lions were in a constant play combat with each other.
They're so cute.
And I don't know if I caught it on camera,
ridiculous.
but right here, somewhere in here, one of them slaps the other one in the face, and I snarfed. It was so freaking funny. I can't tell you. I hope we got it. But this is all they do. When they're not like actually fighting for their lives, if they're well fed, they just play with each other. That's a little
Sea lion pup?
sea otter.
Oh,
The
sea
Jaeger
otter.
puppy? Oh, sea otter.
Yeah, he was really cute.
Here's another video. I think. Oh.
Okay, so
mush.
Nice.
This is really cool, guys. These are dog sleds.
Dog sled dogs?
These are dog sled dogs. Now, these are not huskies like everyone thinks. I think the majority of the dogs that they use are heavy mixed breed. And, you know, like the whole husky thing from what the guys were
compression's
telling me,
crazy.
like they're not the optimal dog for lots of reasons. So they were pulling a four-wheeled cart that simulates what it would feel like to be pulled by the dogs. I mean, lots of similarities between the two. Of course, you know, there's huge differences as well. But you know, you get to see the dogs have like a kind of there's an alpha, there's a hierarchy, but for the most part, these dogs love to do this work. They really enjoy it, and like, you know, they'll rest. Like, you know, it's very hot for them in the summer, so they need to rest more and give them plenty of water.
So are they prepping for, what's that thing? Iditarod or something?
Yeah, Iditarod. Iditarod a big deal. I can
That's
tell you
all
about that
Alaska
real
thing.
quick. But
Got it.
but this is really cool. So the dogs love to do this, and they'll rest for like 15 minutes, and then they all get on their feet and start crying because they want the guy to have them, you know, go again, which I thought was nice. The people, you know, treated their animals exquisitely well. They are very much taken care of. Like, you know, there's just the amount of care that they give those animals is incredible. Iditarod is a dog sledding competition. You know, you have to basically physically train to even be able to handle it. He said it was the distance between going from New England to Florida. Of course, it's not there, but that's how many miles it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, they do that in a number of days. You know, there's so many things that we heard about it, but it's pretty amazing. It's a feat of stamina and focus and fortitude to be able to pull it off. You know, one guy was saying he fully was hallucinating talking to someone for hours. While he was riding the dogs. Because the lack of sleep. I mean, you know, the amount of when the dogs need to rest, like they'll take like a 3-hour break. He said you're working for 2 to 2.5 of those 3 hours, and then they only get a few hours of sleep at night, and it's just crazy.
But did the other guy respond, or
Huh?
did his sleep paralysis demon respond at
No,
all?
he
or
was
no?
talking to a teacher of his in college for hours,
Yeah.
and then he
I've
realized.
heard that too, like people who do like cross country biking, where you're up for days.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You start to hallucinate at some point.
That reminds me of a chapter from World War Z.
Yeah.
Oh.
Say no more.
Say,
Um,
all right. Wait, there's one more image
Okay.
I think you wanted to show. Which was
Oh, how'd that get in there? What is that? Those
what
letters
is,
mean?
it's a, I don't know. It's an AI or something. Who knows?
It's-
All right. Anyway, apparently that's Alaska. All right, everybody.
So
Well,
it's
that's
not
pretty.
like this everywhere, only where the mountains are. I don't, I'd imagine that Alaska is mostly covered in forest. That was my preconception. But this was unbelievable, special. And I thought that I went to the most beautiful place on earth, which was New Zealand. And this rivaled it.
Yeah, Milford Sound is gorgeous, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there was.
Yeah, it rivaled it. For
I would
sure.
still rather go to New Zealand. But to think that, this is accessible by most people in the United States, just remarkable, beautiful.
What's a good reason to go to New Zealand, Steve? Do you want to talk about that thing or no? Is that? If you
Oh, we
remember?
could. I mean,
It's from last week. We never got around to it.
so this idea that if you map out the likely fallout of an all-out nuclear war, that the safest place on Earth is New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
so
makes sense. It's sort of
out there.
It's out there. It's in like one of the remotest places on Earth. But
No one's going to bomb it
Kiwi here.
specifically.
well,
Yeah.
I guess it assumes we're not going to bomb New Zealand directly, which I guess sure. Why would we?
Screw that second
Why would
smallest
anybody do
penguins
that?
in the world.
And just, if you map out like where the fallout would go, but I get that does not have to depend on because it's not like there's only one exchange that would ever happen. It depends on where the
Yeah, you
what
think a lot of them
Yeah.
just
pattern
go-
of nuclear bomb exchange takes
Yeah.
place.
New Zealand has it. For those of you who haven't been, New Zealand has a magical sense to it. I mean, the Lord of the Rings movie shows it off, but it doesn't actually. You have to be there.
Yeah,
It's so
again.
different when you're there. Like the beauty in that.
Hence the billionaires buying property.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
It
too,
is
yeah,
really
it's crazy.
remarkable. I mean, the Alaska that I saw was not as dynamic as the New Zealand that I saw.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to these guys pontificate or bloviate.
Is there anywhere on this map that is safe in the event of a nuclear war?
There's one tiny little place, New Zealand, and a little bit of Australia, and that has to do with if you follow the idea of nuclear war, that agriculture fails when we have a nuclear winter and the sun gets blocked out. When you have all the billions of people dying, it's because agriculture fails. And it is said by those who study this that there are some areas in Australia and New Zealand which would remain viable. But you're talking about kind of hunter-gatherer type people. Now, among the stranger conversations I have had since Nuclear War Scenario published was with several billionaires who actually have bunkers in New Zealand.
No.
They will remain nameless, but what was interesting to me, it was that these
Peter Thiel.
individuals realizing the world could end in 72 minutes wasn't let's all get together and make sure nuclear war doesn't happen. It was more about how fast can I get my G5 loaded so I can get to New Zealand. A private aircraft can take you from Los Angeles to New Zealand without refueling.
15 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we get nuclear winter and the
think
crops
that's-
fail, then we're
Yeah, what are you
there's
going
no
to do?
place you can go.
It's like, how many Twinkies can you store up?
I hope,
a lot. I can store a lot.
Okay, all right. In your body or...
a side topic here where she mentions billionaires, and I've been thinking about the ultra rich a lot over the past year, particularly the last 6 months. And I have a lot of opinions, and I honestly don't know how valid they are. But my take is that how many billionaires can you
Fit on a cracker.
how many billionaires can
Get
you
out of the back
say
of
that
a
you know
truck or
that
whatever.
they're
with a picture.
they are giving the money away for good? Right? Bill Gates is the
you.
first one that comes to
Yeah,
mind.
Bill
There-
Gates.
By the way, there are people who believe that Bill Gates is like a complete scumbag.
Well, there's a
Well, there's some,
lot of conspiracy
you know.
theories around
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I was arguing
And
with people about it
She's
because
taken on a life of their own, but he's objectively doing good things, and I've seen multiple interviews with him. And you can, you have a little bit of a sense if somebody's completely full of shit, or if they're giving you a sales pitch, or if they're being sincere. And he seems like somebody who's like, I got, what am I going to do with the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah, when you have that
spend
kind
my
of money,
billions to make the world a better place.
What a legacy, man.
Yeah.
He's given away tens of billions of dollars, and he's
And there are other people who, like, have given, like, the Bill Gates Foundation. They say, "Oh, here's my $2 billion. Do with it what you will."
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just I don't want to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
He's
Sure,
like, Yeah,
sure.
you're doing good things with it. Let's just pool it together, and we'll.
So other than Bill Gates, the other billionaires I know of are Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, and I don't know.
Musk.
There's got to be other ones and Musk. Are there other ones that are actually doing good for humanity and really using that money? I know that isn't Warren Buffett not going to give his money to his family and he's gonna donate all of it, but who knows who he'd give that money to?
They all
But the point being that we have more ultra wealthy people today than ever, and I know what I would do if I was that rich, and I would hopefully try to go down the Bill Gates path. I couldn't help but help people, and that's my nature. But it's really sad,
Well, just for me, it's like imagine having tens, hundreds of billions of dollars, and thinking you could change the world to make it better, but not do it. I mean,
yeah.
Right.
It's just the idea that having the ability to do something massively good like that, and then, what would you if you had $100 billion laying around, right? And you were looking to do something. Do something with it to make the world a better place. What would you do?
Well, okay. I mean, there's obviously
Wow.
the first
Penis
thing
rocket?
I do is I would hire people to create
To
a
tell
think
you what
tank,
to do.
to create a think tank and take a year to come up with a really good answer. But my off-the-cuff answer right now would probably be getting critical thinking into schools and education, because that's a fantastic gift to give children. Imagine if kids had a decent understanding of critical thinking, just how much that would potentially change everything. But being able to have people have access to health care. I don't know what could be done about that, honestly.
But that's not going to happen at a billionaire level. That's that's societal. That's governmental.
But
you can't
Ian,
fix that.
You
shit
could
with a
spend
billionaire.
say $500 million
Yeah.
changing the political will to make it happen, though.
Yeah, but okay, sure.
Lobbying.
So why don't you, instead of saying "okay, sure," say
Sure,
"Holy
but
Christ, Jay, you were
maybe we
totally
should-
right."
Yeah, okay, but let's not rely on the good nature of billionaires to try to fix our problems. I don't think.
Oh
that's
yeah,
ever
no,
gonna
we're not
happen.
saying that.
We're just saying as a thought experiment.
But even I think money corrupts regardless. I know we are all think that we're as kind as we think we are, but when we're in that wealthy class, I just think it's gonna break our brains in a way that we might
Yeah.
not be willing to say.
that's absolutely
That's a
possible.
fair point.
You
But-
know what
Very
I mean?
fair. Screw the poor.
But I will
Yeah,
tell
right.
you.
I mean, I got mine. You get.
Ian,
Get
you know
yours.
this as well as I do.
Sure.
We have met a lot of very high-profile people.
Yeah.
As an example, right? So there's lots of ways for people to kind of go off the rails. So ultra rich people could become super greedy and have their personality altered enough by it that they're no longer as nice as they were. Whatever, we could say
Yeah.
that. But I've met so many people who have the street cred and everything behind them to be super egotistical and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to say that a lot of them have been awesome. Incredibly generous, super down to earth,
Yeah.
not completely changed by their status and all that. And I think that goes with people that get rich, particularly if you haven't been brought up in an ultra rich environment, you still have a very deep connection to regular people with regular
if you
problems.
know the struggle. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would hope that's the case. I don't know.
Yeah, I do
don't know.
both though. I mean, hell, man, I'd probably end up moving to Florence and having an amazing house there. But I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy your life and live really nice and cushy and
I
everything.
hear you could
clearly.
live really nice on $10 million.
Yeah, the thing is, that level of wealth
10
is
would
so
help.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you're way beyond personal.
Nobody needs that.
quality of life.
Nobody should have that,
Yeah.
in my opinion, but nobody needs that either.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, it's not about your personal quality of
Yeah,
life or your ability to do stuff. It's just about controlling the world.
You're not eating 1,000 hamburgers a day. You know what I mean? That's the level you would probably have to.
And so what it ends up happening is that they end up spending money on crazy,
Yeah.
luxurious shit that's not necessary.
Yeah.
And then there's an industry of people who cater to the wealthy by providing
Yeah.
more and more ridiculously luxurious shit. And then the standard goes up, there is, and everyone judges the standard by the people around them, right? So you get into a culture of progressively richer people, and so it normalizes again all the ridiculously wasteful, luxurious stuff. Whereas that becomes your standard. The idea of like going around and not having a group of people catering to your every need, becomes barbaric. Just as an example.
But there are Steve and I, in particular, we're friends with someone who is extraordinarily wealthy, and they live in a like a regular home because they just don't want to do that, and they're actively like not going down that path. And I find that to be so.
Well, I think you have to be pretty grounded to begin with.
Yeah, but I'm impressed by that because. I remember watching a movie where some mega billionaire, it was a character in the movie, but they had a house that was probably worth $1 million, and the character said, I just don't want any of that. I like this. I like the way this makes me feel, and I like keeping it. Like essentially what he's saying was, I'm keeping myself grounded in reality by not tipping into that spend and wearing a $5 million watch instead of $1 million watch nonsense. And
Watch.
seeing it in real life, like
That's a
seeing
$1 million
people,
watch.
seeing people who have that level of money and just actively choose.
That's a good example. That's like now like the classic example of just ridiculous wealth is the $1 million Rolex watch.
Yeah.
Like I would feel guilty. I would never want it, first of all, just because it doesn't appeal to me.
Well,
but
I'd fucking lose that thing. By the way.
But the other thing is, there's that. It's
Crazy.
also like
Imagine.
I would just feel guilty owning such wasteful wealth. Like, what could you do? How many people could you feed with the cost of that
Exactly.
watch?
Yeah.
Schindler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That one watch, I could have fed
I
thousands
could
of
have
people.
saved more people. Yeah. Well, it just. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good lesson for everyone on different levels. You don't have to be a billionaire to have this struggle, right? Because we all can help each other. I mean, I often end our live streams by saying, like, just do something small, an act of kindness to someone today, or pick someone that you love and do something for them unexpected that will make their day brighter. I mean, we can be generous.
Change the world.
Change.
Yeah.
It's all relative.
But Bill Nye is right, and that "change the world" yell that he does has heavily inspired me since the first time I heard it, because even if it's not a massive brushstroke change, being able to give someone I love a smile or help them in a way to give them some convenience is great.
No, we should do. We should start a podcast trying to educate the world about critical thinking.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know.
It won't have any impact.
I don't got time
It
for
has
that.
no
That's a
legs.
waste of time.
I don't know about all
I'd rather play a zombie waves on my phone.
that. Zombie waves.
What
That
kind of
sounds pretty
research
good.
would you guys fund?
Oh, that's actually pretty fun.
Come
What
on.
is your
That's probably one of the
thing?
first things I think. The money I drop on research.
Well, you know what?
It's
You
like,
and I
what
would be
is your pet project
funding
if you had $1
similar
billion?
stuff.
So the two areas I think I would focus on. The thing is, medical research is already well funded. It really is. But I would maybe have an eye out for areas that I think are not getting the funding it deserves, and fund that. But
Steve,
the idea of focusing on key technologies that would transition to like a green economy faster could happen. Like there is a lot of headroom there for improvement.
Sure.
I mean, I think
Even 5 or 10 years, if we get to net zero 10 years earlier than we would without somebody spending $100 billion doing that is changing the world.
Well, CRISPR and the mRNA platform are things that are being defunded, and I think keeping that alive and functioning would be hugely beneficial. I mean, I've recently yet again done another deep dive on the mRNA platform because I'm constantly arguing with people online. So my education on these sciences are continue to improve. And the thing is, like, the mRNA platform is actually as close to a freaking technological miracle that.
But the thing is, listen, I've written about this, that clawing back the funding for the mRNA vaccine, like what was that, $500 million, like $500 million, is just batshit crazy, and it's part of a bigger program of defunding science and technology development, and this, basically since Sputnik, and since World War II. The United States has built up this infrastructure of a certain type of collaboration between government and scientists and academia that massively funds research and development and is largely responsible for America's place in the world today.
Yeah.
and Trump now is defunding that. He's like throwing away our biggest advantage. And so I don't think any one person can reverse that. We politically need to reverse that.
But Steve,
But things
billionaire-
like mRNA, the other flip side of that too is that like with mRNA development,
Other countries, it's inevitable. That
I mean,
genie
and companies
is
are
out.
doing it. Companies are investing in that. Like which one of the two? I think it was Moderna, or didn't get any funding from the government to develop their vaccine. 'Cause
Right.
They were already doing it. They
Yeah.
self-funded. They had the money, so that will still happen. It'll happen with private
just-
industry.
It's slow. It's
a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, do we want it to happen now? Do we want a cure for Alzheimer's now, or in
Or
20
after
years?
we're dead.
Yeah, I mean,
or
it's,
a massive increase in cures for different
do
cancers.
we want to be 5 years ahead of the world or 5 years behind the world? These are the choices that we're making as a society.
I think another systemic problem is the fact that mis and disinformation have such a strong foothold in the media that people consume. Like, why isn't there massive positive advertising for science? And just saying in a post, like, I'd love to scroll by and just have a post that says, hey, in case you didn't know, millions, tens of millions of lives have been saved by vaccination. And here's a list of all the most common claims that are being made that are extraordinarily false. You know what I mean? Like, give people, like, just let them breeze through that and just have that hit their brain, a couple times a week, just to change perceptions, right? Because that's the problem is like money isn't really being spent to counteract the massive amount of misinformation.
Not nearly as much. That needs to be. We need to figure this out. Yeah, I don't think it. Somebody asked about Elon Musk and Tesla and EVs. And I completely agree. I know this is controversial. People think he stole Tesla or whatever.
Well,
He
he
wasn't
bought
the
it.
engineers.
I
Like
mean,
bullshit.
he
Whatever.
bought it,
All true.
whatever.
But he still dumped tons of cash in that company with vision to make it what it was. You have to give credit where it's due. He is responsible
If only he stopped kind
for.
of
But for Tesla being. And the thing is.
But he squandered that. He squandered the
He
lead.
has.
With-
That's why.
yeah,
Now
and
that's
the
why.
goodwill.
Tragic.
We're going back 10 years now or whatever. The Musk that we liked when he was all about cars and Mars, right? So he did push the EV market forward, absolutely, and he deserves credit for that. Again, I own a Tesla. It's the best car I've ever driven. It's the best car I've ever owned. It's awesome.
And Tesla does have the best driverless technologies.
It's awesome. It's an awesome car. It still
Not ready for
feels like
prime
the
time,
car
but
of
yeah.
the future.
Wouldn't work.
But it hasn't done anything. Tesla hasn't done anything good recently. Now I'm starting to think, like, why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing this? Why don't, like, he's just lost the initiative there. But going back 10 years, 15 years, whatever, absolutely. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. If you have somebody who's saying, all right, I'm going to dump billions of dollars into this, and I'm going to go through the lean years, and I don't really care if it's profitable for a while, even ever. I'm going to just accelerate this technology. Bill Gates is now doing that with nuclear reactors, salt-cooled, the natrium nuclear reactors. Like, I'm going to put the $2 or $3 or $4 billion of activation, funding into this to get it to the point where it becomes commercially viable, and that will accelerate this technology by decades. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, exactly. And totally give people credit for that where it is due. I just wish he were still focusing on that. Like, where's he's got to compete with the Chinese EVs. Where's the sub $30,000 EV?
Yeah.
Why can't you get
that's
plug-in solar panels to charge your Tesla? Blah, blah, blah. Like, all these things. Like, where the next... He's got to keep ahead of
Definitely,
that kind of
yeah.
market.
gotta
Especially
innovate like
with the
crazy,
global
man.
competition. You got to keep going. You got to keep that innovation going. And really, I don't
China's
see
going to
this-
destroy us.
What does he
and
come out
that-
with
it's
recently?
just
The
gonna-
freaking Cybertruck. Oh, God.
Yeah, so ugly.
So I was-
Absolutely
Whatever.
hideous piece of crap, in my opinion.
I accidentally pulled into a Tesla dealership because
You had to turn around?
I was looking for a doctor's office.
Yeah.
I pull in,
Dr.
and
Tesla.
I'm like, oh, here we go. So I did a, what do you call that? A K-turn when you just beep
Yeah.
So I pull in and I stop, and I'm right next to, a Cybertruck, and I just took the moment to I want to look at it. You know what I mean? Because it's much bigger than you think it
Yeah.
is.
It's a beast.
I've seen many of them.
I've seen many of them, but I just, I took a couple of minutes just to be like, okay, let me look at this thing. I mean, the thing has had so many recalls, and it's ugly, and it doesn't perform well in any of the things that it does. And it definitely, I think the only explanation was that Musk pushed that thing through R&D to get it out. It was a vanity project. However, That said, and believe me, I love
Believe me.
talking bad about the Cybertruck, and I was consuming a lot of hate about the Cybertruck. I loved seeing people rip them apart and show you how crappy they are.
Yeah.
But I recently did a deep dive on EVs because my wife and I have a car that's about to die, and we are getting solar panels on our house. So I thought naturally, like, shit, man, it's time. I think we should get an EV. So I did a deep dive, ChatGPT as my wingman, and they rated the non-Tesla, the non-Cybertruck Tesla vehicles as the best EVs that you can purchase. And I kept going at it, like,
What about the Chinese EVs? They're pretty.
they weren't in the mix.
Yeah, because they would have won.
Well, you can't buy them anyway,
Yeah.
right? You can't get them here. So I'm in the U.S. So they said the battery life is much better.
Yeah.
It's a difference between maybe it's like 280 for the best non-Tesla battery to 350, 375.
No, you can.
and
There
so-
are some companies making, for money, making the 350, whatever. Yeah, but the Teslas, you could, they come 280 and you can get them at 340 for extra money.
Yeah.
Which is what we got.
Yeah,
And the other
that's
thing
what
is,
I would do.
so now, I've been driving our Tesla for 6 years. That car is like new. Like new. It's the only car that I could say that about.
But it might be because it's an EV as well.
It is because it's EV. What I'm saying is, how much maintenance we've had to do on it in the last 6 years? Nothing.
rotation?
Tires, right?
Just the tires. We had to
Yeah.
replace the tires once
Yeah.
in 6 years. Other than that, no maintenance, none.
Yeah,
It
that's
still
crazy.
drives like the day we got the car, brand new.
Yeah.
It's completely new.
Ben, I really like the Ioniq 5, the Hyundai
Yeah.
Ioniq 5. That's on my list. So what I thought I would do, and I wanted to just ask you guys what your opinion is about this. What do you think about me buying a used
Cybertruck.
a used Tesla like Model 3 or a Model Y?
Yeah. The used market is not bad.
Because I did find one. I found several out there, like where one of them had 3,000 miles on it, and it was like 15
Wow.
grand less
That's
than the
new.
brand new.
That's
Yeah,
brand new.
So I was thinking like,
You gotta see what the actual battery life is, though. That's the other thing is our battery life is almost as good as it was 6 years
Yeah.
ago. It really hasn't dropped.
That's
at all.
impressive.
and I drove their Tesla because Steve and I went to a conference a month ago.
I heard it has no torque.
Oh God, that's the thing.
The acceleration
So-
is
Off the hook.
I'm on the highway with Steve. Steve asked me to drive back, and I'm like, I knew I was going to end up driving at some point, and I wanted to drive it because they're really fast. So anyway, this was stupid, but I had to do it. I just wanted to see what kind of acceleration this car had at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, the zero acceleration it's more powerful than anything I've ever driven. I'd
a race
imagine,
car.
like a dragster would easily beat that. But as far as a car that's accessible to most people, unbelievable zero acceleration.
I mean, way more than you could ever use.
70
I've
miles
never
an
put the
hour.
pedal to the
Yeah.
metal.
We're going 70, and I didn't even come close to flooring it. I pushed it like another 20%,
It's all there.
and we went from 70 to 105 in seconds. It was ridiculous.
Wow,
we didn't
man.
stay there.
No, I
We
immediately
just
backed
wanted-
down.
yeah.
I just wanted to see what that surge would be, and I waited till we had a straight
No, it's-
clip. And there
it's
was nobody in
crazy.
front.
It's
But,
crazy
but
acceleration.
ridiculous. Like those cars are just the torque on those cars is ridiculous. And
instant.
Bob, no delay.
That's the thing, no delay. I get so spoiled by that. Then I go back to driving my, my gasoline
hurry
car.
up.
And it's like, oh, that delay is
Come
just
on.
killing me. And so I'm looking to replace that too. But I'm looking for something at the larger side because we need one car that's like your go to the airport car. You know what I mean? And we can't have just two sedans. Got to have one family car.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't.
So
think,
that's the EV market at the SUV end of the spectrum is still dodgy, in my opinion. It's getting a car that's big enough that has the mileage you want. The Rivians are great; they're expensive
So
as hell,
expensive.
really
Yeah,
expensive.
they
But that's like
look
they're the
beautiful,
EV
though.
trucks. The
They're-
thing
they're
is,
gorgeous.
I think at that end we really need to wait for the new lithium-ion batteries come out, the silicone anode
Yeah,
lithium,
yeah.
which have basically twice the energy density. Once we have those sort of in the pipeline for EVs, then I think the EV SUVs are going to take off.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I was
so-
waiting for.
So I think Ben again said something about the $7,500 government kickback.
Rebate,
Those
yeah.
are gonna,
Rebate.
about to go away.
It's going to go away next month.
Yeah.
But I think that only applies to new cars. Like if you buy a used car, you don't get the rebate
Mm.
again. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works.
Yeah,
But
I thought so too.
But even still, I mean, to pick up a
The
used
Hummer EV SUV. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh God. Get out
The
of here.
Hummer. I read a little bit about the Hummer EV.
yeah.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks
What, like
fantastic.
120 grand?
I heard it's ridiculously overpowered, like
Yeah.
insanely overpowered.
I get angry when I walk past like a giant Ford pickup truck with the double
it's
wheels.
oh
in
my
the back
god,
and-
man!
Like,
So American.
yeah, I know it really.
Yeah,
is.
I mean, unless you're using it, unless you're working,
Yeah.
unless you,
But the-
if
Yeah.
that's just a vibe thing or whatever.
My
Yeah.
stepbrother does
Yeah.
have one, but he does use it. But he has the double. You have like the quad wheels in the back. Like
I
he's,
agree. I
you
mean,
know, it's
this
crazy.
is
but
objectively an issue in America.
yeah, very.
Objectively, the size of our cars.
I
have been
like
in-
everything big. You know,
It's going to be.
like-
It's been increasing over the last 30
But-
years. Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Do you know what company started? I read a very interesting history of the SUV.
Yes, I do know.
What?
It was supersizing food, right?
No.
It had to
What
be.
the movie?
No, what do you got?
What started the whole SUV trend?
Oh, the SUV
Oh.
getting bigger and bigger.
Chevrolet. I don't know.
Ford.
no,
Who?
Jeep.
Jeep.
Those bastards.
It was Jeep because
I
they had
could-
Jeeps.
Jeep
and they literally
Chevrolet,
said,
that's what I said.
How do we convince Americans to buy our Jeeps for everyday commuting?
Yeah.
And they did it.
Yeah.
They created the SUV market,
Yeah.
and then everyone followed suit.
Yeah.
And now and look, when you're driving on the highway or whatever in U.S., just look around. It's like, Christ, everyone's driving a freaking SUV.
And you know, some
You
of these
know?
Ford
Yeah.
trucks, the really big ones, the rear view mirrors come out really far. And it's obnoxious. Everything about those trucks to me is obnoxious. Look, again, if you need it,
If you need it, it's fine.
which-
I think it's fine as your family car, like it used to be, whatever, the station wagon, then the minivan. Now it's an SUV. That's fine.
yeah,
But-
SUVs are great for kids.
But
They're
that shouldn't
super
be
safe.
everyone's commuting car. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Again, like for most families, like you get your one,
Well,
sedan,
that's why I
and
want to
your
get
one
the EV. I
family-
want
yeah,
that to
right.
be the daily use car. Like
Yeah.
my SUV is wonderful for the kids.
Plus,
And you know we do
Yeah, if you're
tons of
for your
activities.
sedan, like for the
Yeah.
the 2 car family, you have one sedan, one SUV, whatever. The smaller car should definitely be an EV.
Yeah.
I think we're just right on the verge of where I think EV SUVs are going to be great.
Yep.
And it's really literally 2026, 2027 when those batteries start coming out
Yeah.
in cars.
You know,
but don't forget, there's size variations within the
I know,
SUV.
I know, there's a
Because I got a
continuum.
relatively small SUV. That's basically equivalent to a sedan.
that hybrid, not hybrid, but what do you call that? Between an SUV and a car, like there's that.
Is there a name for that?
Yeah, there is that crossover. I think that's
Crossover,
what they call
yeah.
them. That crossover.
Yeah.
Just like at the big end of a sedan or the small end of an SUV. That's where you can get an
Yeah.
EV now,
Oh, I
and
want
that's
a-
what I've been looking at. But like in there, I'm thinking, is this? Can I go to the airport with this? Right, that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
If you guys have never
Or
seen
can I
the
take
K
my-
trucks,
Can I take my
K-trucks are
daughter to
awesome.
college with this? You know, that's like the
K-trucks.
kind of thing that I'm.
with my family of
I'll
four.
show you Japanese
yeah, put a
K-trucks.
picture up on it. It's impossible for us to go on a trip without our SUV.
Yeah.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, how do people in Europe? I mean, I guess these are countries with mass transit, like a modern
Yeah.
freaking democracy. But how do they, like, with strollers and suitcases and clothes? Is it partly because America is just so freaking big and like we vacation in America, but there's not enough mass transit to get somewhere
No,
necessarily?
there's no sidewalks, and,
You know what I mean?
there's
Like-
no public transportation. Like you're counting on vehicles in this country, and I don't know how we're going to fix that. But
These are K trucks. They're
I've seen those.
you can import them into the U.S.
Oh
now
my
because
God.
they're 25 years old.
I
or
saw those.
something
I'm like,
that.
I was looking for Godzilla running
Yes.
behind.
yeah.
It's like,
If I
these
had
are
one of those,
awesome.
I'd want to shoot
holy
a
crap, man!
a ground to air missile out of the back of one of
Yeah, no, that's the Toyota.
Look, I saw.
You're
I
talking
couldn't believe
about.
it when I saw one.
those.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a couple in Connecticut too. I love
Holy
them actually.
crap.
I
would
got to
get
say
them.
something though. I
They're $5 grand,
think I'm
too.
correct. when I say this.
$5,000.
Plus probably the shipping.
If
and
you
stuff,
get
but-
if you get
Wow.
into a car accident
Wow.
with that, you're dead.
that's the
No.
problem in America. Yes, but if you're in town, like, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's chill.
You know what's weird? As I get older, I've been wanting to get a VW van.
I agree.
They were supposed to be coming out with an EV
They are.
model.
They do.
they
They
are.
are.
They are just so
They're coming out with an EV.
My
or
grandfather
CW
had
van.
8 VW buses.
yeah.
Like,
Whoa.
It was. He gifted my father one, but it like broke down. But it was awesome. I remember
How big was the flatbed on that K truck?
the K truck.
That's what you're thinking, Bob.
No, I'm not.
Big enough for a queen.
Big enough for a corpse.
of course.
That's what he's
Oh,
thinking.
my God.
Yeah.
Well, they're big enough for
So
corpses.
right.
I was thinking more along the lines of like a 4x8 piece of plywood or insulation board.
Coffin. Can you put a coffin back there?
It would be
Look at
fun to
this
try.
lowrider
It would be great to. Ian, imagine trying to fit a rock band in the back of one of them and driving
that would
down
be
Main
really-
Street.
You could totally do that. I
You
mean,
could.
It's right. It's right side steering or whatever they call
Oh,
it.
jeez.
You know, so you have to get used to that. But
that
it's
even
legal.
legal?
No, it's legal. I've seen people.
Wow.
You
all
just
right.
you can have those. You obviously have to drive on the correct side. Speaking of what Bob was just talking about, there is some videos that people sent us specifically for Bob.
Oh,
What?
So let's look at
I
these.
send out videos every day. We are all over that.
Been there,
We
done
know
that.
Yeah,
we've
it's like-
been-
I've already made the ones that are on the ground that are horizontal. I'm building the one behind the tombstones. That's what I'm building.
Bob's
next.
is better.
The crucifixion
than
ones
the ground
at
one.
all? Or no,
I-
you gonna do?
They're okay, but they're not the best. So
But
then
Bob, I like how black I like their black dark
Yeah.
color.
Yeah,
But
like
your
burnt.
ground one, like this one here coming up,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
is pretty cool. But the one that lays on the ground, like the one in front here, Bob made a better version of that.
Yeah.
It has more
Yeah.
character and
it's definitely got better
the
movement.
movement is great.
I mean, they finished it better because mine's just a skeleton. I haven't put any skin on him yet. But I like my movement actually better than
Then somebody
theirs.
sent us this. Nobody wants to see your Halloween decorations in August.
Ow!
That's
I've got 3 of those skeletons. That's the ultra posable Home Depot skeletons. They're fantastic and amazing price. Highly recommended.
Why
yeah.
don't they just push it in better? I don't know, right?
I know. Well, it's supposed to be squeaking like to the music. I didn't want to get copyright struck. Anyway, so
All right, what else we supposed
we
to
were
talk
talking about ChatGPT.
Thanks for the video.
Yeah, it's ChatGPT.
Talking
And
about
let's
tonight on the
you're going to talk
show.
about it tonight, but I don't know if you guys are talking about
What
this.
should I talk about tonight? This is one of those weeks where I have 3 things I want to talk about.
Okay, is it ChatGPT related?
No, Bob is talking about ChatGPT.
Okay,
So I could talk about
All right,
lithium for Alzheimer's disease.
okay. As you
I
wrote
saw
about
you did
on.
on SPN,
Oh yeah, man.
All over the news. It's a good medical story to talk
Boom.
about. I could talk about nuclear reactors on the moon.
That one is good.
Yeah.
It's timely, and there's
I like-
going to be there's a lot of
I like that one.
skeptical points.
And
in
also, it's basically mini nuclear reactors. Also, that and at military bases.
Mm-hmm.
Or plug-in solar panels, like balcony solar panels.
there. I would talk about the
I was like, wait,
the,
plug-in. That's
the
the opposite
moon
way.
thing this week and the solar panels next week.
What about the lithium for Alzheimer's?
I have
disease?
no interest. Just tell us. Does it work?
That's the question.
Well, tell us the answer.
Well, you have. If you are you interested enough to hear the whole story?
I
It's
don't
not
give a
simple
shit
yes or
about
no.
the. I just want to know: does it work?
TLDR,
It'll take me
TLDR.
15 minutes to answer that question. Do
Okay.
you want me to do that on the show tonight?
No, I'm already bored.
What does the chat think? I wanna
Yeah, chat,
try-
let
I
us
don't care
know.
what these guys think.
So when
I
you
wanna
say
know what you guys think.
when you say plug-in, it's not just backfeeding into the wall, right? Like-
Yes, that's the
What?
interesting thing. You can take a solar panel if you have the inverter, right?
Yeah.
That converts DC to AC. You could plug it into an outlet,
Uh-huh.
and outlets are bidirectional. You can
They-
put energy
yeah, that's
into
true.
them as well as take energy out.
Are
of
there
them.
any trans outlets
What?
though?
Yes, they go back and forth.
They're
All right.
bi-directional,
They're
a conventional
relaxed.
outlet.
Yes.
They go back and forth.
Bi-directional.
They
It's my
switch
job
when
to
you-
bring some levity.
Wow.
to
Is
this
it
nonsense.
your job? Is it?
Bastard.
But anyway, so
think about it, Bob,
But
it's
where
a
does that
wire.
get picked up? Does that
Yeah.
It doesn't know what direction.
Does your
electricity-
house use it? Does it
Yes.
lower?
go?
It
Well, you
lowers
have
the power
you have to have a
consumption of your house?
battery or a reversible meter, right?
All,
You-
all
you need
meters
the-
can go
you-
in reverse. No,
No, not all. Well, all new meters.
it'll slow
The
down your
meters
meter.
can go in reverse.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I thought you had to have one that like feeds it back into the grid that's specially made for when you get panels installed. Don't you have to get it switched out? Well, whatever. I don't know.
No, but it is true. Like if the juice goes to the grid,
Right.
then you get credit for that based upon your state's net metering laws, right?
That's great.
And-
That's great, man.
But ideally, it would. Again, this is. I could talk for 15 minutes on this. Do you want me to talk about?
Yes, that's what you're talking about.
I mean, it's kind of fun to think that we could do that. I mean, how efficient, all that kind
There's
of
a
stuff.
lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to
There's 15
question.
minutes to talk about.
All right, that's
the
good.
Canadian Space Advocate wants me to go on my rant, and I got. So what happened? Let me just give you.
Wait, I'm still
Non-binary
collecting
outness.
data.
That's what it is. Non-binary.
Nuclear,
You don't know?
solar,
Yeah.
lithium. Those are the 3 choices I want.
I
everyone
think
to vote.
Nuclear. So you know what? Let me do.
Do what I
poll.
said. Just do one this week and one next week, and
Let me engage
But what
with
if
the
some
audience.
other
I'm going to
good
do a
news story
poll.
comes out over the next week that I want to
What
talk about?
should Steve
Then blog about it.
talk about?
I
Wait.
blogged about all of these already.
Nuclear,
No, I haven't done
solar.
the solar yet.
What was the last one? Moon.
Or lithium, nuclear. That will be
Oh,
mini
that's the
nuclear,
moon.
right? So mini nuclear for either the moon or
Moon.
military
Nuclear
bases.
moon. I'm going to call it solar.
Lithium for
plug-in,
Alzheimer's disease or plug-in like
lithium,
balcony solar
or
panels.
Alzheimer.
How about lithium for solar panels?
Yeah. Or nuclear.
All right, I
for
put a poll
Alzheimer's.
in the
Nuclear.
YouTube chat.
Nuclear.
In the YouTube chat, there's a poll. I'll play some music while you guys. We need poll music. That sounds wrong.
Sharon, how's retirement?
I think the new
Yes.
digital meters might be set up to go.
You are
Okay,
correct
so
about the
new
bread.
New meters. Yeah, we didn't do bread this week.
What?
It was Jay's job to bring the bread, but we're hoping maybe well, just to give a little backstory, we weren't necessarily sure we were going to be here
Thanks,
today, but that got rescheduled. We are not going to tell you what that is about, but we will tell you in the
Scoopy,
future.
thank you.
Jay, I believe, is going to make some. Are you going to make that? What's that?
Pumpernickel?
Pumpernickel. Thank you.
Yeah, I could probably do
Pumpernickel.
that next week. So I've had several people tell me in person and over email that they don't like the Will It Bread segment.
Well, who
So we
cares?
should, maybe we should.
We like it.
Well,
But
we
we
do.
like it.
It's true.
No,
I
that
know.
we want to add more to it. It was part of it is like it's just like us chewing and being like it's good. But like I think if we add some like here's the recipe, here's a little video of us doing it, make it a little bit of a produced more.
Ian,
People
what
like it.
what is
There's
that
also
image?
a lot of people that do like it.
Scoopy sent us
Huh?
gifts, and what is that image? I can't see it from here.
Clapping hands? Wait, no.
Oh, it's whoops.
Is it a
No, hold
flexing
on.
bicep?
It's an odd angle though for that.
I don't actually know. I can't see it either.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. If anybody knows what that icon is in chat, I'm
Is
just
it?
curious.
It looks like a pancreas.
It does kind of look like maybe it's yeah, I don't know. Devil fart bread. That's right. All right. So currently, 49% are saying lithium Alzheimer's is winning out. Or it has the plurality, I guess. Or no, wait, the majority, not the. I don't know. Whatever.
You're right.
Plurality
Plurality,
is
not majority.
not majority.
49%.
Right. So 49%,
Just like
30% nuclear. 30% is nuclear. Nuclear.
Nuclear.
Our solar plug-in is 24%. So
I am
although it's
disappointed.
going down, the lithium is dropping. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, everybody, get your lithium in quick.
Yeah, come
Just
on.
rename it. Will the rogues be fed segment?
We need to be able to see this live, Ian, next time.
You want to see the freaking thing? Okay.
Well,
hold
why
on.
not?
Why not?
All right, Aurora says that they like the bread segment.
Thank
See?
you.
So we're
So
doing
that's
it for
we're gonna do
Aurora.
it forever, based on that one data.
I am
Adam.
on a significant calorie reduction right now,
All right, here, chat. You're part of the stream now. Look. All right, you see that?
but bread is my weakness.
Bread is life.
All right, so we're getting lithium is winning.
51 votes, 164 viewers. Get voting. Stop sitting there eating bread.
So
I don't see me. Oh yeah, you don't see you because you're on Twitch, and TikTok. Although you're there, we believe you. All right, still it looks like 47%.
Yeah, so
I think that's
it's
what it is.
lithium for Alzheimer's.
Lithium Alzheimer's.
Well, how am
you
I
wrote
gonna-
articles about it.
how am I going to find out about the other stuff then?
Well, maybe I could do both of them combined
That's true.
next week.
I'll leave it up for a while and then we'll end it a little bit. All right, chat. Let's get back to
To the shizzo.
Shizzo. All right, so we were before I was rudely interrupted. Just kidding. ChatGPT, Bob, did you hear this story about a man develops rare condition after consulting ChatGPT
Salt
over
intake?
Yep.
Yep.
Stopping eating salt. Are you talking about that tonight?
No, but
Okay.
I read about it.
So
ChatGPT told him to stop eating salt, so he did.
well, here's the thing. Yeah, yes. In some estimations, a U.S. medical journal has warned against using ChatGPT for health information after a man developed a rare condition following an interaction with the chatbot about removing table salt from his diet. An article in the Annals of Internal Medicine reported a case in which a
Ooh.
60-year-old man developed bromism.
Well, he has lots of male friends.
Yes, he's just broing it up. Also known as bromide toxicity after consulting ChatGPT. Article described bromism as a well-recognized syndrome in the early 20th century that was thought to have contributed to almost 1 in 10 psychiatric admissions at the time. So they don't have 100% data on like what he searched, but they did consult ChatGPT about what, like in a similar way to like removing sodium chloride rather, from his diet.
Yep.
And bromide is recommended without a health warning, but it does have a caveat. It's like probably for cleaning. So apparently you can, use sodium bromide or whatever to clean
Okay.
as opposed to sodium chloride.
I'm still not
But
following.
he took that as a an allowance to use sodium bromide to consume, or bromide to consume rather than sodium chloride is a replacement.
Hey, they're both sodium, right? How
They're
different
both
are they?
salt.
What does it taste like?
I mean, that's true. It probably is salty. So anyway, so he tried to escape the hospital within 24 hours of being admitted, and after being sectioned, was treated for psychosis. Once the patient was stabilized, he reported having several other symptoms that indicated bromism, such as facial acne, excessive thirst, and insomnia.
I have all of that.
So I mean, so how much have you been consulting with ChatGPT for your
Table
health
salt
advice?
is sodium chloride.
Sodium
Not
chloride.
consume other salts as if they are equivalent.
All right,
Right.
few questions.
Go ahead.
Did he fully recover?
Let's see. I mean, presumably, as a result,
I had a patient once who,
Animation.
because of snake oil on the online, et cetera, blah blah blah, was consuming something called trisalts,
Trisalts.
which
Well,
is
it's 3 times.
potassium,
Uh-huh.
magnesium,
Okay.
and something else.
But what was it for the salt taste, or was it?
And calcium.
Calcium, magnesium, and
no,
potassium.
for health reasons, potassium, magnesium, and calcium.
Okay.
Often in the form of carbonates or bicarbonates.
So what do you think happened?
Or biscarbonates. Isn't
I
that
think
what
that
it's
they got constipated.
supposed to be?
No,
Headaches,
no,
diarrhea.
Excessive drooling.
Instant death.
no. They wouldn't get admitted to my service if they were already dead.
Went
Went
blind.
No.
Delayed death.
Okay.
So-
Not headaches.
Wait, hold on, more.
Wait,
This is
wait,
good.
hold on.
We're
It's
onto something here.
neurological, right?
Yeah, the
It was neurological.
it was
and he
You
neurological.
can
you
tell his
think.
left side from his right side.
He was double vision.
He started yodeling uncontrollably.
They became delirious.
Okay.
And at one point, there's a woman. She was running down the hallways of the hospital naked,
Well,
How old was she?
30s.
Okay.
You know.
Did you see this?
Yes.
Did you have to physically examine her?
Yes, of course. I
Okay.
did.
All right. Don't
Did
look
it
at me.
full
like
of-
that.
While she was naked.
no,
No.
not while she's running.
I'm just trying to make you laugh, Steve.
So-
So is she okay now?
Yeah, what she had was completely. So she
Assuming
was
she's not
taking
back
so
on it.
much of this trisalts that the kidneys, had to get rid of it,
They're mostly
right, to establish the right amount.
Homeostasis.
pH and whatnot.
So,
Homeostasis.
but the kidneys cannot perfectly regulate your electrolytes, right? If you overwhelm them,
That's what plants
you know,
crave.
they overwhelm their ability to finally manage it. So what was happening was the kidney was getting rid of all of the salts in order to lower the ones that she was
Including the
supplementing,
good salts.
including sodium chloride. So her salt levels plummeted.
Plummeted, yeah.
Right, her
Interesting.
sodium level, I think, got as low as 118.
Whoa.
Was the number that I
What's
I
a
don't know if
normal
that's
number?
You become dehydrated.
140s.
And there's a big difference between those two numbers?
Yeah, at 118, you're delirious
About
from running
22.
naked down the hall of a hospital. So yeah, when your number, so like below one, yeah, if you get like upper 130s is fine, like 134, 135, we're like, okay, we've got to keep an eye on this.
210, 120.
Below 130 is danger zone.
Yeah.
Below
Me too.
120, like I've only seen like maybe 2 cases in 30 years that were that low.
Wow.
Usually then you go into seizures and you get delirious.
So
like
you
bad
admit
things
her,
happen.
she doesn't take the meds, they gave her a slice of pizza, and
Oh.
2 days later she was fine.
You have to carefully, no,
New Haven style.
you have to very slowly increase their sodium level.
Mm.
If you increase it too quickly, they get another neurological condition
Called
that's permanently damages your
Ooh.
brain.
Salty brain.
Shit.
Get permanent brain damage if
salt
you
on the brain, Ian? What?
if you raise their
Salty brain.
no.
No.
So anyway, you have to over like a few days. You have to slowly raise their sodium
and
level.
stop her from taking. Say hello.
Well, yeah,
stop
yeah.
her from taking the other crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
don't take the
So
intravenously.
intravenously, you're doing IV of like saline or something, or what's the?
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to do IV
methodology?
management.
Did
Yeah,
she
yeah.
remember losing her shit?
No,
Interesting.
See how that's crazy, man.
That's-
no, the brain's not
That's
really
wild.
making.
She's
memories
lucky
during
she
that
didn't
time.
total herself.
No, she could have died. She could have died because of supplement, because of a supplement she took at whatever from the supplement seller, and it was just overdid it.
Wow.
So can you eat too much salt?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can eat too
What
much
happens
salt.
if you eat too much salt?
I've definitely
Well,
done
it
that.
raises your blood pressure. It
Mhm.
can, you get too high a salt in your blood. It's also not good for the brain. The brain likes a pretty narrow range of salt levels.
And your body tries to
Because-
regulate
and your
that.
body's regulating it unless you overwhelm its ability to do that, or your brain is broken in some way. So there's different things that can go wrong that could impair your body's ability.
Does drinking more
manage.
water help your body manage?
Yeah, if you have too much salt, then
can
drinking
flush
water
it,
is
right?
the solution.
Yeah.
yeah.
There it is, guys.
H2O solution, soluble
Free water,
solution.
as we call it.
Free water, free range water. So anyway, okay, so that's ChatGPT. Don't necessarily take advice from.
Not against HIPAA if I don't mention anybody's name. Like
right,
a
that's the
20-year-old
thing.
case, like it's a generic person with no patient-specific identifying information is fine.
Would you
We
prescribe?
do it all the time. It's called the case report.
Would you just prescribe someone salt pills?
Yeah.
Would table salt would do the same thing though?
Yeah.
So does HIPAA apply now that you're retired too? Right, like you
Yeah.
could be sued for potentially
Yeah.
for revealing information. Yeah. So there you go. So the doctors stay above
I
board.
am still liable
Aha.
for all of my medical care.
There
So
you go.
what is it? There's a statute of limitation.
Statute,
Right.
So she was
right.
delirious and running down the hallway naked. Would the same thing happen to that salt vampire creature from Star
I
Trek?
was just going to bring that up. I was just going to. I'm literally turning it over in my head how I could talk about it.
No, they have a different physiology.
Oh,
So
yes.
the
Makes
first,
sense.
the
They
first,
die if they don't get enough.
not
salt.
the first filmed episode, but the
first-
first aired episode of Star Trek: The Original Series. They wanted a monster in it.
Yeah.
That's why they had this thing. So it was a monster that could put these suction cups on you, and they sucked the salt out of your blood.
And they could also make themselves look like anybody,
Anybody,
that you would find appealing.
Right.
They could look like
They
anybody.
could basically read your mind and project
Exactly.
with that image. I remember at one point the monster was imitating McCoy, and I made the comment, "Is that the real McCoy?"
Oh, nice, nice. You're very proud of that one.
I'm very proud
That
of
was
it.
probably how many decades old, and you still remember that. But I always
on to
got
it.
pissed off on that. I got pissed off at that episode because this was even her husband said that this was an intelligent creature, clearly can communicate,
Yeah.
right? So why didn't you say, "Hey, I'm the last of my species. I'm not human. This is what I look like." Like
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. And give me some salt.
I have an
Give me a
answer.
steady supply of salt, and I'll be your friend. I mean, why
Yeah.
wouldn't she? No, I'm going to murder people for their salt when they could probably give her salt.
I have
that
an
would
answer.
What? Please, there is no
Well,
answer.
like John Comforter's The Thing, the monster. It was.
That
you
was
know,
his instinct.
It was
He
an
couldn't get away from
it
its
was an
instinct.
unbelievably strong instinct that it probably couldn't get away from. Right? You could be Bob. You could be hyper intelligent and also be off
With
the
some
rails.
blind spots and
Yeah, I mean, come on.
compartmentalization.
I mean,
I get.
they
yeah.
did do a good job of portraying how hungry the creature was. You know what I mean? Like it really was jonesing for salt. Like it couldn't really control it.
Yeah, maybe she dips a little bit and she gets crazy hungry. You know,
Yeah.
to talk about hangry on steroids. I get maybe I don't know.
They gave it a cool. It had that thing where it was like doing this thing. with
Tick,
its
the
mouth.
tick, little-
tick,
yeah, little- yeah,
which
yeah.
I thought was added to
Yeah.
the fact that it was jonesing.
Yeah.
Sorry, TikTok. We died for a second. It just
What the
the
hell?
app just crashed for a second. It's back. We're back
Steve
now.
just said the most unbelievable thing.
profound. It's
I can't
crazy.
repeat it.
Cannot be
Can't.
repeated.
Sorry. You got to
All right, well, we're gonna
subscribe
talk
to
about,
patreon.com. Okay, yeah, let's
What were the
talk
things
about
that Bob wanted to talk about?
So,
ether?
Bob-
Talk about ether or something?
Yeah.
Ether.
No, cancer.
Cancer and ether.
That's
Did
true.
I
That
ever
was one
tell
of
the
top-
story?
No, yeah, like 20 times.
Okay.
We've, like,
On this show on Wednesday.
of course.
Yes.
Cancer.
All right, fine. If you don't-
Excuse me.
If you don't, what did you say?
What
If you
did
don't
you
want to
say?
hear the
Yeah,
story,
that's right.
Ian, if the people out in the world don't
They
want to
know.
hear, okay.
One person, I dare one person to say that they haven't heard this story
Well-
in the chat. I dare.
I don't think that Sharon has heard it.
All right. All right, Sharon is Karen. All right, here we go. Cancer. Okay, here we go.
In 1931, a doctor discovered the real root of cancer,
Real
and the
root.
world ignored him. His name was Dr. Otto Warburg. He won the Nobel Prize for
They
discovering
ignored
something
him
that
and
should
gave
have
him a
changed.
Nobel Prize.
Sure did. Well, for something else, for taxes. I don't know. Okay, you're
And,
right.
and tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, but we're going to ignore you now.
Yeah. Bye bye. Go away.
All right.
We have pills to sell or something. I don't know. Whatever. Here we
Cancer
go.
treatment forever. Cancer doesn't begin with bad genes. It begins when cells can no longer use oxygen to make energy. Warburg discovered that cancer cells ferment sugar even when oxygen is available. This is called the Warburg effect. And here's the kicker. We're still treating cancer today as if it's only genetic. But Warburg was right. Cancer is a metabolic disease, and I'm living proof. When I was first diagnosed with a grade
And
4
if you send
diffuse
him money, he'll give
astrocytoma
you a
brain
special
cancer,
protocol to treat your cancer. What a scumbag.
Well, no, he does say he'll give it for free though.
Well, he
Ah.
says contact me.
Steve, is
Contact.
this,
No,
is
he
this-
says free. He says the
Well,
F
yeah,
word.
yeah. You don't think that these sucking people in to buy something?
Maybe.
is this
The
is this
F word.
is this guy this fucking
This
guy?
fucking guy,
fucking
yeah.
guy.
This
So
fucking
what
guy.
about has he said is true? Because he's
Well,
probably
the-
all right,
dancing
This
in
was
that.
interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Warburg effect is legit.
Right. He just completely
a little bit-
misinterprets it.
Yes, absolutely. And there was a deliberate focus change from a metabolic origin of cancer to genetic. But part of the reason for that was they found things like, oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes. They found components in our DNA that specifically deals with cancer. So there was that shift. The Warburg effect was seen for a while as just kind of a symptom and not the cause of cancer. Plus, there's also lots of other really interesting.
It is a symptom of cancer.
Yeah, well, but that's how it was seen. It's just a symptom, and it's not the cause specifically. It was seen. So, but there's also lots of other reasons for that. First off, they didn't have any of the real tools to focus and treat specifically the metabolism of cancer cells. So the tools weren't there, and there's also. He talks about glycolysis, right, and how the tumor cells use glycolysis. But there's also important cells in your human body, healthy cells all over your body that use glycolysis, like your immune cells for one, and the lining of your gut. You can't just have a treatment to knock out glycolysis. You'd be screwed. So it would be very dangerous to have done that. Also, the metabolic activity of tumor cells can vary and change over time. So it was like a moving target. So it was and it took until we had the imaging and the techniques and the medicines to actually deal with it. So yes, we are dealing with it, but it took a while to actually have the tools so that it wouldn't kill people. So I mean, it's very misleading what he's saying here.
It's totally misleading. Cancer is very complicated. First of all, we don't think it's 100% due to genes. It's due to genes, environment, lifestyle factors, and bad luck. Right? That's the bottom line in terms of cancer. It's not just one. It doesn't have one cause. It's multiple things coming together. The thing, and he's sort of conflating two things here. So, the thing is, cancer cells. Why are they cancerous? Right? You have to ask that question. What's the difference between a cancer cell and a non-cancer?
Well, endlessly,
they can reproduce
reproducing.
endlessly. So there are normal limitations on how much cells can reproduce and survive. That in order to be cancerous, you have to break through those limitations. One of the limitations is how much oxygen you can get, right? So one of the ways to break out of the limitations is to be able to survive on glycolysis without oxygen.
Yeah, smart move.
Yeah, because then you don't need that constant flow of oxygen from the blood. Because you have a solid tumor, one of the limiting factors of a tumor is how you can get enough blood supply to this mass of cells that are rapidly replicating. Right? That's why one of the treatments for cancer now is anti-angiogenesis drugs that prevent the replication of blood vessels to feed a tumor.
Right.
It won't grow as fast if it can't grow blood vessels to feed it. And there's also we don't ignore the metabolic aspects of it. In terms of cancer treatment protocols, sometimes like there is this idea of don't feed the cancer, right? You don't want to take certain supplements or whatever that will remember. Cancer cells are very metabolically active. They're more metabolically stressed than healthy cells because they're rapidly reproducing. So you don't want to feed the cancer by giving it the rate-limiting nutrients it needs that it's hungry for more than your healthy cells are hungry for, right? So you do have to be careful about what you eat and what you consume, what you supplement, really, when you have cancer. This is something that your oncologist will tell you about because they absolutely think about this in terms of managing cancer. And oxygen is one of those things. But the thing is, like, there's no easy, let's just, and therefore what? You always have to ask, okay, so how does this help us treat the cancer? He just has some bullshit protocol, that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Right.
But, when real doctors who are actually trying to, treat cancer and improve survival, et cetera, think very carefully about what does this mean? How, therefore, do we treat cancer? Meaning, how can I stress out those cancer cells sufficiently more than your healthy cells
without hurting the healthy cells.
I can inhibit or kill the cancer without causing too many side effects or harm to the host.
And this method has been successful.
Well, cancer survival has increased by 1% or 2% every year for the last 50 years. There's been a steady, slow increase in cancer survival through all of these mechanisms. Understanding the genetics, targeting treatments at different genetics, understanding the metabolic consequences and drivers of cancer, understanding lifestyle factors, understanding all of these things, attacking cancer from multiple different angles. There's no one cure for cancer, right? But we've managed to put together immune therapies, anti-angiogenesis therapies that target rapidly progressing cells, metabolic treatments. They all add together to try to improve your chances of survival and your survival. So this is just nonsense. The idea that we're just stupidly ignoring the cause of all cancer because
Right.
we're blinded by genes or whatever. Whenever people start talking that way, 100% you are talking
Right.
to a crank.
Right.
This is a guru trying to sell you something.
And they will often say at that point that they don't want to release the cure because they want to continue making money. That's probably even more common. They want.
Meanwhile, that's what they're doing, right? That's what the cranks are doing.
Yeah. Right.
Right, but and also it's not like they're not making money on what they're doing. It's like, okay, yeah, you're going to attack an academic physician who's probably making $100,000 a year. Like they're the problem, not the guru making millions of dollars a year selling Saquenol.
Yep.
That guy's earnest. He's sincere. Bullshit. It's total bullshit narrative. What's next?
That's good. All right,
that
thank
pissed me
you.
off.
Excellent ending.
That pisses me off every
yeah.
freaking day.
Cancer.
Cancer.
So
right.
this guy was wrong. That's what you're
So
saying.
this guy was wrong. That's always good. What was this one? That was
Oh, I'm doing this
non-toxic-
one. I'm doing this one for a TikTok.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Hello.
Ancient rituals become new science. This is about
That
consciousness.
one's just stupid. You could play it, but it's just
Yeah.
like
Oh.
New Age belief I'm going to assert without any logic or evidence. Just,
Yeah. Hold on. I lost the screen
Please
for a
click.
second.
Please click and
Yeah,
like.
basically, it's one of those like rage baiting.
But it's like she predicts that science is going to rediscover all this ancient wisdom. I'll predict it's not going to do that, and we'll see who's right.
Yeah, literally. Did I pull off the wrong ones? No, I think this is the right one.
But the leaves on trees.
Oh yeah, this is about like radiation and like green spaces.
Oh.
Oh,
This
this
was-
one's stupid. Too.
yeah,
I didn't
I
even
know.
know what to say about this one.
I know
Yeah.
it's it's the claim right at the end where he's like,
Yeah.
and it treats blah blah blah, blah and it's like what? Here, so here we go.
Believe it or not, but the leaves on trees
I believe it.
and grass, anything with chlorophyll, is highly reflective of infrared light. What that means is that if you go outside on a sunny day versus going outside on a sunny day surrounded by green spaces, you're going to get probably 2, 3, 4 times more infrared light in that environment than you would without that environment.
Yeah, 'cause
You can
trees
check
are
this out. You
alive,
go to
they emit
Google
heat.
and just type in infrared photography and click images, and you will see any kind of infrared filtered
These are
light
not those images,
when
by
it
the
shows
way.
a tree
These are
or
just
grass,
random
it looks like it's lit up like it's got snow on it. It's bright white. It's very reflective. On a hot summer day, if you go outside and touch some object that's in the sun, it's going to be extremely hot. Touch a leaf. It's not hot at all. It's because it's
because they
reflecting that
control their
light. In
temperatures,
fact,
they
the
would
coolest
die
place
otherwise.
in a garden on a hot summer day is where? It's under a tree. Because all of that infrared light is being reflected off. So we know from years and decades of data that people who live in green
guy needs to
spaces
touch grass.
have
I mean,
reduced diabetes,
This is the
reduced
This is
hypertension.
where-
Reduce
in-
hypertension.
if you're in the shade under a tree, it's the infrared light no, you're in the shade. No light's hitting you. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
less
that's
light
it's
is
shade.
yeah, not direct light.
less
Yeah.
direct light.
This guy
Much
needs
less
to touch
light.
grass is an
Wow.
excellent excellent Zoomer statement.
mean,
Thank you so much.
Why do people wake up and then say, I'm going to
And choose stupidity.
leaves, infrared light, and they concoct this? What the?
Well, because it gets him on the show with Andrew Huberman,
whatever.
assuming that there was his actual, not just spliced footage. But
right.
It's
I mean, he's very
it's just
popular,
Dunning
you know.
Kruger. It's just people with a little bit of knowledge who have no idea how actually ignorant they are. They have no idea how deep knowledge is, what true expertise is about. They go off on some rabbit hole, fantasy idea that they're smarter than everybody else. It is a complete lack of humility. Then you come out with some bullshit. Now they can spread it on TikTok or on social media and get clicks and go on Joe Rogan's show or whatever.
yeah. All right, so that's annoying. Let's see what this one was. Oh wait, this is Ether. You're not going to do this for the TikTok.
Yeah,
so let's do
this
this
is
one.
one we could talk
This
about.
is a good
All
one.
right.
Bob wanted to talk about the.
This is
ether.
another New Age bullshit one.
Yeah.
There used to be a fifth
New
element.
Age, old
Today
age.
we're talking about earth, air, fire, and water. But for all of history,
Nation.
there was an additional element, and suddenly they decided to erase it. It was called ether. The ancients believed it filled the space between everything, carrying light, thought, and life energy itself. Then in the early 1900s, they decided to erase it from history, and they labeled it as quackery. Despite the fact that every civilization from around the world world had a name for this. Some called it energy, ether, prana, chi, all the same thing, and they all swore by its power. This was also the free energy that Nikola Tesla used. I want you to think, if ether is real, then energy, our thoughts, and our emotions connect everything. And when we ignore it, it disconnects us from everything, including our own potential. If parents knew this and instilled it in their children, it would change everything. I actually wrote a guide called
make them
Awakened
dumber.
Parenting that teaches kids to stay connected to their own energy and their intuition and their light before the world teaches them to disconnect. You can find it in the link in my bio. It will amaze you how it changes how you connect with your children. If this resonates, give me a follow and let me know if you've heard of this.
Okay.
No resonation.
That's incoherent. The
No
guy's-
res-
He said, "Don't ignore the ether.
Don't it.
Don't ignore it."
Isn't it
Don't
ridiculously easy to ignore because
It doesn't exist.
does-
Doesn't exist.
well, I mean,
Well,
but first off, he's talking about an
they
ether, though.
want
I
you
mean,
to
what kind of ether are you talking about, though? Because the
he's
light carrying ether
incoherent.
is one thing. That's the luminiferous ether, but but the ether that's mediating emotions. That's
He's
that's,
mixing
that's
up a
not
whole
the-
bunch. It's just a bunch
right.
of gobbledygook mix up. So let's first of all, he says we talk about
Dallas
4
multipass.
elements, right?
Right.
Air, earth, fire, and water. Who does? That's not real. Those aren't elements. That's right. That's an ancient system itself. That's just nonsense. But what happened to the 5th element, ether? Was not a movie, the 5th
Mila
element.
Jovovich.
Good movie, man.
Multipass. So, okay, so well, one of your mythical elements is missing from your group of mythical elements. What are you talking about? But what he's like again, there's some conspiracy to they suddenly decided to ban the ether
The
from
original
history.
5 elements, Steve.
Why did they do this? Who are they and why did they do it? And who has the power to banish something from history?
Well, first
What
off,
he's-
I think the scientists got rid of the luminiferous ether.
Yes, I
that's
think that
Michelson,
element is in there.
Right.
But
Michelson
he
and
doesn't
Morley
understand
experiment.
it.
Look it up, 1887.
Yeah.
The most famous null
Well, here's-
hypothesis experiment in physics
Here's
ever.
the quickie on it was that we didn't know, waves travel through water.
Light was a wave,
Sound
so-
travels through air. Light's a wave. So what is it traveling through? What is the medium through which light is traveling? And they said, well, maybe it's the ether, whatever that is. And so that if there is something like an ether, a luminiferous ether, right, the ether through which light is propagating, then what we could need to figure out is the Earth stationary with respect to the ether, or is it moving through the ether? And there was different theories about does the Earth drag some of the ether along
Right.
with it or whatever.
Yeah.
So there were a series of experiments which basically showed we're not moving with respect to the ether and we're not stationary with respect to the ether. And the only way to square those two things is if the ether does not exist.
Yeah.
And so there was the fact that we never found the ether, that we couldn't be either moving or stationary with respect to the ether, and they figured out, the physicist, was it Maxwell's equations and then Einstein,
Yeah.
blah, 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 that EM radiation is self-propagating. It doesn't have to move through anything. It's self-propagating.
It's transverse, not
So-
longitudinal. Yeah.
So so the need for the ether went away. We didn't just, there's no conspiracy to ban it from history. It was always a placeholder of our ignorance. Then we learned shit, and so it went away because it was no longer necessary.
That and thousands of other things.
Including life energy, which is also now confusing and throwing
Right.
into the
Yeah,
ether is
prana,
not life energy. These are two different
Yeah.
things. But life energy also was a placeholder of our ignorance that faded away as we learned stuff like biology and physiology and biochemistry. And basically there was nothing left for this life force or life energy to do except woo and bullshit, which is why we have videos like this.
And it particularly bothered me that he's like trying to get at kids. You know, he's
Yeah.
like, parents, you should teach this to your kids. Like, dude, take your
Yeah.
eyebrows and that shiny thing between your eyebrows and go
Also,
away.
the context of the Michelson-Morley experiment was interesting because at that time in history, in the late 1800s, they thought physics was wrapped up. They
Yeah.
like, yep, Newtonian.
almost
we can't-
there. Just a couple
we-
other
yep,
eyes
what-
to dot.
And Michelson and Morley were thinking that one physicist explained it, that he was going to wrap up all the physics in one neat bow by saying, yes, the luminiferous ether exists. That's how light propagates. And they did the experiment. And they're like, shit, we can't find it. Now, did you know that Michelson never bought into it?
Yeah.
To his dying day, he still believed that the ether existed. Like, holy crap, I did not know that. But more importantly, that showed, that was one of the first cracks in Newtonian mechanics. Because if one of the takeaways is that light the speed of light is independent of the movement of an observer, which was a huge
Yes.
takeaway. That meant Galilean relativity was incorrect. So that's when Lorentz did his Lorentz
Yes.
transformations, and that led to Einstein's special relativity.
Yeah.
So huge. That experiment had a huge impact. It opened up physics, quantum mechanics, and relativity for decades and over a century now. So it was very impactful and interesting. But this guy's just like
Magic.
magic bullshit, whatever.
Also, the 5 elements of Chinese medicine. Do you know what the 5 elements of Chinese medicine are?
Yes.
What
Yeah,
are they?
wood is in there.
Wood,
right?
correct. What
Water.
else? Water. Good. What
One
else?
of the ones that we talk about is, I think it's instead of ether, it's wood.
Wood is one of them.
Monkeys.
Monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah,
That's the
that's a
calendar.
6th one.
Something about
secret
sexual
one.
positions. Was
No,
that
that's
part of it?
India and also
Fire,
different.
fi-
No,
fire's
okay.
on there.
Okay, all right, forget it. Earth, wind. No, it's fire, earth, metal,
Yes.
water, and wood.
Metal.
And
Metal,
the
water.
song.
Is there no
metal
air?
music. No air. Air's not even part of
No
it, which
air.
is interesting.
What about metalloids?
Metalloids?
That's probably.
What about plastic? Where's that?
What about jazz? Smooth jazz. All right, so that's
124.
that.
So you're saying that monkeys is not on the list?
Monkeys is not on the list.
That's
Unfortunately,
crazy.
that is not an element.
To you it isn't.
To me, it is. What about this guy? Oh,
I love him. I laugh whenever I
I
see him
know,
every
he's
week.
like-
Please send me a link to him every week
I
just because
will.
I could laugh with him.
Oh, what's that?
I love his shtick.
I haven't developed love for this guy yet.
His shtick is the first time I saw it, I was annoyed as hell,
Still
but
the
now
annoying
it's just
face.
fun. It's just his goofy shtick.
All right, start it over.
His face is basically what I feel.
That? Oh, scientists have proven that humans can only see 4% of what's in front of them?
Goody.
Tell me more. Scientists have proven that humans can only see 4% of what's in front of them,
You
meaning
should've
we're
just
not
stopped there.
seeing
Yeah.
practically anything that is really there. This is why if you take a Tesla, for example, down to a cemetery and you turn on the biometric camera,
Have you done this?
you're going to see human beings walking around, all around, but yet you don't see them with your naked eye, but you'll see them on the biometric camera. Oh, I love that. This is why the contacts that they recently made that can see in the dark are seeing certain figures that you can't see with the naked eye. So it's so fun. There have been many inventions in the past that they haven't been able to release because of this issue. And not to mention in the 60s when they had the issue with the goggles in the war and they were seeing certain figures and they were shooting at them, but they weren't really there apparently. Okay.
So I know Tesla will show people standing there, but that's just like misidentification, especially in a cemetery.
think.
And you don't need to be in the cemetery. It happens occasionally in wherever you are.
Yeah,
but
crosswalks.
I mean, it just
Does a pretty good job.
It does a pretty good
But
job,
it's
but
not
it's not perfect, and it misidentifies. Maybe a tombstone at that your
Yeah.
angle. It kind of for a few seconds kind of looks like a person. I don't know. It's
So
just like
people
come on.
say that-
So they're ghosts.
Oh, here you
yeah.
have this in zombie mode. That's your problem.
Yeah. or ghost.
I never
mode.
heard that, but that makes
Ghost
perfect sense.
mode.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, sometimes like again, we have a Tesla and you use that all the time. It shows you like cars and dogs and stuff, and sometimes things pop up that are not there.
Yeah.
Or things like move around or they go away. Whatever. It's just not perfect. It's trying to extrapolate from what data it has.
Plus, it's just a visualization of the data that it's getting from the
Yes.
camera, so it's not even
Yeah.
like really.
Yeah, it's got to interpret
I mean-
everything that it sees into like the pre-selected objects that are in the database.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so that one's fun. I guess we can call it that. All right, let's move on to what other topics did we have other than the TikToks? Jay is post brain op. This is a little bit of a long one, but somebody kind of tagged us in this one, which was kind of interesting. It's a gentleman. Hold on, where's this gentleman? Gentleman. Where'd he go? Oh, hold on. Stand by. I'll find it. Guy after brain surgery.
Okay.
So he's just out talking to the phone. Let's just see
Here
what
we
he has
go.
to say. It's a little bit long. We'll probably cut it at points.
Look at that. 2 weeks.
Ah.
I'm pretty normal. As normal as I can be, I guess. This is freaking nuts. Had my brain cut out. Had some left in, I guess. I can't read. I
nothing.
can't write. I
That
can
is
do all
nothing.
this stuff. But every day I get a little bit smarter, which is insane. And I have to keep so busy because some of the drugs they put me on, literally I want to work like 20-hour days. And I'm so unfunctional that I can't do basic stuff. Luckily, I live in the country. And I still remember how to use a tractor. Everything is insane to me. This is not even funny, but it's so funny. I'm literally just crazy. So, but at least I'm having a good time, I guess. I borrowed a tractor from my neighbor, and luckily I've used it like 1,000 times in the past. So it literally took me like 5 hours to relearn it, and all I did was drive around in circles. And then finally, like, things started clicking in my brain, and I was like, oh, I can lift the bucket. Oh, I can do these things. And I literally just drove around in circles doing nothing, basically. Every day, though, it got a little bit better. So I want to say this is the 4th day I've been using this stupid thing. Look how dirty I am. I'm like so dirty. And all I'm doing is very basic stuff. And the more basic stuff I do, the more I learn and the more connections happen. So it's literally insane. And finally, I'm not on the steroids anymore. I'm still really like puffed out.
All right, it goes into it. I mean, it's his happiness is kind of fun, but also, what do you think about a guy operating heavy machinery?
Yeah, that's probably not recommended.
Well, the first question
brain surgery.
Is this real?
That is a good question.
You know,
I
Steve,
mean,
what do you think?
there are a lot of the videos on his channel seem to suggest it. He's at least committed to the bit if it is fake. The staples in his head kind of look real. He, previously before this like really blew up, he said he had his brain cancer, so he was getting an operation. So, but I guess part of it is coming down to the somebody was, what did they tag us with? They were asking us like, is this possible that your brain is like reconnecting slowly after surgery, that you're
well, I mean, he said
he gave,
he basically said a lot of things that you could infer what's going on there.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't have any details about
of course
whatever happened to this guy.
And you don't know what he was like before.
Right. That's what we call the premorbid personality. But so he didn't have a huge chunk of his brain removed, probably.
Why do you know that?
He seems coherent.
He also, they put the skull back.
Yeah.
Right. They don't always do that.
Wait, what?
Why not?
Well, they might. Sometimes what they do is they'll take out a piece of your skull, they'll do the surgery, they'll put the skull on ice, and they'll close the flap, but without the
In case
skull.
they have to go back in?
No, for pressure. They want it as a pressure valve, basically.
Okay.
Until all the swelling goes down. That's what the steroids are for too. So, first of all, you had extended surgery. Neurosurgery can often be like 12, 13, 14 hours. It could be very long. So that's a lot of anesthesia for your body to process. Yeah. And then you have all of the drugs, to prevent seizures and the steroids to reduce the swelling. There's a lot for your brain to take, a lot for your body to take. It can take just from that alone, it could take you weeks to sort of come out of the haze, of all of that. And then again, if his brain did have a lot of swelling, then we have to wait for that swelling to come down. Obviously, he's out of the hospital. You know what I mean? He said they're not giving him steroids or anything anymore, so he's probably mostly better. But yeah, he's in that period of weeks where you're slowly recovering from all of the stress. Pharmacologically, physiologically, etc., nutritionally, everything is under stress. And so that, they get feeling a little bit better every day is what we see. That's what we would expect. That doesn't mean that his brain is like making new connections every day that were lost. I wouldn't think of it that way. It's just recovering physiologically, really.
But the part of his brain, if they had to cut out...
I have no idea what part they cut, other than it's on the left.
What's on the
assuming
left?
It's not flipped.
I'm just making assumptions here, but like, your brain is distributed, meaning, he could function if he lost a small piece of his brain.
The brain is not fully distributed.
Yeah.
Right?
There's centers that do particular things, but still, like if you lost a little bit...
It totally depends, Jay. There's something that we call eloquent cortex. Ever hear that term?
No.
Eloquent cortex. So there's sometimes you could take out a little piece of cortex that has a profound deficit.
Why?
Because it's eloquent cortex. It's doing something very specific.
Like take out the little hippocampus.
Yeah.
And you will know. You will know.
Well, it depends on what your other hippocampus is. That's a bilaterally redundant.
I didn't know
center.
that.
Yeah. So there's two, right? And some people are already dominant on one side or the other. So in fact, if we do need to take out someone's hippocampus, what we'll do is
Take out the weak one.
well, we have to figure out which one's weak first. We'll put one to sleep and test their memory, then put the other one to sleep.
How do you put it to sleep?
Drugs. It's called the WADA test. You give
hot
What's the
drugs.
chemical? What's the
phenobarbital, I think is what they use.
because I've heard that when they temporarily suspend the corpus callosum, they
Callosum.
callosum, yeah, they can Colosseum. They froze it. Did that make sense? Does that sound viable? Like
No.
they didn't.
I don't know. I've never heard that.
Temperature-wise, frozen?
Okay.
But they just do it pharmacologically.
Yeah.
They'll put together they'll put your half your brain to sleep, and then they'll test your memory and language on the other side. Then they do it the other way
What
around.
does that feel like to the patient?
Oh man.
It's kind of like being like dreaming or something. Like you have part of your brain is making your consciousness. You could be fully conscious with half your brain. You need about 45% of your cortex to be conscious.
That explains a lot about
50% is enough. So, but it could be so if
And
they
society.
put your language side to sleep, then it's like you don't have any language, or
Yeah.
whatever. Or if they put if they put the side they want to take out asleep and your memory goes away, that's bad, right?
Yeah.
That means that's the deficit you're going to get when they operate on that side. But if you don't notice a difference, like everything's good, then it's like, okay, you're probably not using it that much anyway, right? The other thing to think about, for whatever reason you want to take it out, it may not be working anyway. And so you just want to make sure that there's not going to be too much of a deficit when you take it out. Sometimes you don't have a choice.
If he's
Sometimes
acting like this,
either you die of a brain tumor or we make you paralyzed or whatever. Like you got to accept the deficit in order to.
would you say because he's acting like this that he's on the better half of things?
Oh yeah, definitely. And clearly, again, so you could see that he's moving the right side, the opposite side of his body, fine. So again, it probably didn't touch the motor cortex.
He seems to be communicating.
He seems to be talking fine.
Yeah,
Again,
he stumbles over some words and like he has to like re-trigger it. He says.
Yeah, it doesn't
like,
mean he
yeah.
would pass a formal language exam.
Mhm.
You know, I might be able to detect deficits if I was able to examine him. But yeah, he's not aphasic. Like he can talk, right? So he'll probably come out of this just fine.
Yeah.
Maybe with some subtle deficits.
And the
or
weird
whatever.
laughing could be just from nervousness, you know.
I don't know. Again, could be. I don't know what his personality is. I don't know if
Pre-morbid.
and they probably with frontal lobe, obviously
Executive.
frontal can cause personality changes like being really happy, but then that absolutely needs to be bilateral.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that from one side.
So all I got to do to be happy is to get part of my frontal lobe cut out.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's what a frontal lobotomy is.
Yeah,
I thought you
that's
turned
old
into
school.
a vegetable when they do
No, not really. That's movie stuff.
One flew
Doesn't
over the
turn you
cuckoo's
into a
nest.
vegetable. I mean, unless they screw it
that.
up.
Is that where your executive function is, though?
Yeah, but again, so for frontal lobe higher functionings, they're what we call bilateral redundant. So there's unilateral redundant or bilateral but not redundant. There's unilateral and then there's bilateral redundant, right? So
Yeah.
your motor cortex is bilateral but not redundant, right? The right side controls your left side, the left side controls your right side. The frontal lobes are bilateral redundant, meaning that either side does fine by itself. You'd have to do damage both sides to really get a deficit.
Okay.
And unilateral means it's only on one side. It's
And
not
so
on one side.
and
Like language
hippocampus
only
is
on one
the
side.
hippocampus is mostly bilateral.
It's
redundant.
bilateral redundant. Yeah.
Mostly, unless you happen to be a person who uses one much more than the other.
You might have one that's dominant over the other, or or one may have been damaged or something, and you need to rely on the other one.
Well, I mean, look, it's sad to see someone that has to get that level of surgery. Seems to be
But
okay.
he may be fine.
Scary.
It's-
as hell, man.
In the video, I watched the whole thing, but it's like, and he's like, I'm so much happier now. I don't remember anything of my like past grievances with my family. Like everything's fine. I call them and we're all good. So like, I don't know. It's like there's an interesting
Okay.
thing to
yeah,
there.
definitely more layers.
Yeah, yeah. So
Somebody goes, I'm not dead yet.
I'm not dead yet.
Happy.
Do you guys? What is? Well, I don't know if it's the most famous, but what's an infamous lobotomy that you guys know of in terms of person
Kennedy.
Kennedy's, yeah, Rosemary.
Yeah,
Kennedy.
man.
Yeah,
That
the
was
guy.
one that-
I don't know about lobotomy. You know the guy that was a rail worker
Yeah.
and the
That was a
the
lobotomy.
rail
That
iron
was the
went
rail
through.
went
Went
through.
through.
Yeah, what was his name? I'm trying to think of his name. Finch
Yeah.
or something. He had some really classic old timey
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Phineas.
Phineas Gage. Phineas Gage.
Yeah, so
Gage,
he
you're right.
had the surgeons or doctors that were there. They literally were able to touch their fingers together through his head.
So he had an accidental lobotomy. Now there's two basically kinds of frontal lobe syndromes that can result from that. One is apathetic, where you just don't care about anything and you don't do anything. The other one is disinhibited, where you now can no longer really control your
Yeah.
behavior. He had that kind,
Filters.
where he became
gone.
an asshole. Yeah.
But you have to
After
become
the-
an asshole?
Well, then, if you're
Disinhibited?
you could be violent. You could be, you're like a child.
So
you
which
know.
would you rather have?
I mean, they're both horrible. And he actually also developed
Probably
epilepsy
not
and
violent.
had frequent seizures and eventually died.
Yeah.
He
Very
did not have a good
tragic
life.
story.
For years. I mean, he
Yeah, it's about
lived
years.
for years.
Yeah.
I remember I was about 12 years old, and they played a TV show movie that was made about this whole incident and
Yeah.
the guy, and it was goddamn traumatic.
Yeah.
It was really scary to
Of course it
see
was.
all that
Literally
shit.
traumatic. So I mean, a few years ago, I say a few years ago, I have to check myself, it's probably 10 years ago, so whatever, something like that, 6-7 years ago, a neurological paper was published where a neurologist
Assessed.
was, he was, I don't know where he was somewhere where, and he came across, like somebody was selling some old-timey photos.
Oh, and there's
He's flipping through there, and he sees a picture of original photograph of Phineas Gage with the rail spike that went through his head.
Oh wow!
And he, of course, he bought it, and then he published a paper out of it. It's just a total amazing historical find. Like, holy fuck, that's Phineas Gage. You know?
Yeah, not unknown.
Now, in my world, he would have turned into a superhero
Oh,
Yeah.
with the power of
trains.
Trains.
The power of trains. I mean,
Real
and believe me, it's
Yeah.
powerful.
Like Kick-Ass.
yeah.
All right, we have a couple conspiracies to look at. Here's this.
Right.
How old were you when you found out that the first man on the moon was Neil Armstrong? That Neil A spelled backwards is alien.
I can't stand that.
TIL.
Today I learned Neil A is alien, right? Anybody? No?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's a joke. This one's just a joke. Come on.
It seems like a joke.
It's a joke. All right, here's another name one.
Coincidence?
Marissa Tomei.
It's
a me,
It's a me, Mario.
There we go.
I love her so much. I love everything she's done. She's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, My Cousin Vinny, right? Like, isn't that the
Oh my God.
iconic one? That's Marissa Tomei, right? Yeah.
She was great in My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. Are astrologers any good at their job?
No.
No. So this is a study that recently came out. Apparently.
Apparently.
Here we go.
Study is super inconvenient if you're into
Hold on,
astrology.
let me turn it up.
Okay, so I saw this on clearerthinking.org, which, by the way, is a fucking great website. You should check it out. They've run this study. It is not peer-reviewed yet, as far as I can tell, but they've opened the data on it. I've had a look. Looks legit. They've been really clear about their method. I think it all kind of checks out. So the study is, can astrologers use astrological charts to understand people's character and lives? What they have done here is they have recruited 152 astrologers, and they have given them incredibly detailed case files or profiles on real individuals. And they've said, look at this detail about these people and their lives, their characters, their preferences, etc. And based on this, tell me, which of these 5 astrological charts do you think is theirs? And this is premised on the idea that in astrology, your astrological chart, which describes, as far as I understand it, kind of what the planets were doing at the exact minute that you were born. This astrological chart is highly predictive of what you're going to be like as a person, and therefore you have good reason to think that it's going to be reflected in how someone's life unfolds. So, as I say, they recruited 152 astrologers to do this. They also designed the study with the help of 6 astrologers. So they're not just astrology skeptics who are like, let's make everybody look stupid and design a rigged study. They've done this in good faith, as far as I can tell, with these 6 astrologers. So, first up, do the astrologers think that they are going to be good at this? Yes, they do. So they know they're going to be asked 12 questions.
Say, what do you
They're
guys
asked-
think? Here's a little chart. I have a little experience and their level of how well they think they would do versus how well they thought they did after the fact. This may be like, it's a little bit related to Dunning-Kruger, right? Like the overconfidence, you know.
He's greater at the lower end.
And then I'm experienced, and then here's I'm a world-class expert, high confidence, and even afterwards, still pretty high confidence, like almost similar. So maybe it's actually a different result. What is the Dunning-Kruger exactly? I think it's like high floor for like if you don't know anything, but then the disparity is like the real.
It's everyone thinks they're better than average.
Right.
And from the 75th percentile down, the people overestimate their performance greater the lower they are.
Right.
Objectively.
That's what it is.
And then above that, they tend to underestimate a little bit. So the lines do cross a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, so that kind of fits because the red bar is their assessment of how well
how'd they
did.
do? That
How
doesn't
did, but how
irrelevant.
did they
Yeah, let's get
objectively
it
do?
out.
That they need a third bar.
That's true. Yeah, well, they're getting there.
All right.
Okay, so
Random how they
here's
did.
the green line is random chance, and here they are. I have a
Oh,
little
look at
experience,
that.
experienced amateur, in between amateur
Look,
and expert.
world class
expert.
did the
below,
worst.
Class.
2 below, 2 above, and 1 on the line. You can't
Yeah.
get more average than that.
Yeah, world class. Yeah, did technically the worst.
There's
I
also
mean,
zero
statistically,
dose
but you know,
response curve there. There's zero relationship to experience.
right.
Green line is showing you
This
what I
is
said before, that they
this,
need to
but
get
let's look at the
2.4
distribution.
answers
Let's
correct.
just skip through what she has to say because she's
Yeah, she's very
She's-
verbose.
yeah, she's saying it a little
But-
bit.
but not saying.
So yeah, the first interesting thing about this is that on average they're not doing any better than chance. The second interesting thing is that experience does not.
Yeah, doesn't make
or
you
as bad.
perform
And,
better.
for the
Here's the
distribution,
distribution curve. That's probably more obvious.
Explain
you
that to
know.
us.
It's the distribution of the astrologer's performance. So it's like how many they got correct, compared to random chance.
It's a bell curve. It's a random
It's
distribution.
essentially a random distribution. Exactly.
no, here's a different way of it. So
let's
one final
see.
question, Brett chart.
Let's see.
Maybe
Here
a
it
bit
is.
for the world-class experts, but they're still agreeing only 28% of the time.
What's this chart?
when
This is how much did they agree, like in terms of the experience level on. Hold on, let's see the one where they actually show the agreeing.
when you
Where did that one
pick
go?
one of the answers at random and look at whether 2 of the people in that group agree with each other. So they can't correctly identify the chart. They don't
Right.
even agree with each other about what the profile might be suggesting, and experience has no bearing on performance.
Well, that's interesting. They don't agree.
So they don't agree what sign it even is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that they're all agreeing it's like a different sign based on maybe.
So there's not even
some
any
standard.
internal consistency.
There's no
in their
internal
bullshit
consistency.
system,
Just
which has
like-
no external relationship to reality.
Yeah.
just like acupuncture.
Just like acupuncture, just like chiropractic, just like pretty much any nonsense.
Exactly.
Homeopathy. It's like they all have their own individual answer. They don't agree with each other. They don't agree with reality. It is just all nonsense.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go. It hasn't been replicated, obviously, or peer reviewed, but it seems to comport with what I think we think
Well, I mean, but
of it.
these kinds of studies have been replicated over and
True.
over and over
In
again.
different, yeah. in different
Astrologers are
methodologies.
not able to demonstrate that astrology has any validity under
Right.
properly controlled conditions. And then what they'll do is they'll say, well, that was sidereal astrology, and I am a solar or sun sign astrologer, or vice versa, whatever. They'll just say, it wasn't the exact right system that I use. I use this different kind of bullshit, which also fails when you test it. And then someone else say, well, that's not my kind of bullshit. That's
Yeah.
why it didn't work.
I have the better.
That's like, well, they were doing auricular acupuncture, not whatever the kind of bullshit that I do. That's why it failed.
it's got the
Just go around
embarrassing
in
type.
circles.
It's got the veneer of that.
My friend used to sell, like cameras and TVs and stuff like that. Like I think kind of like at a Circuit City or Best Buy, right? So, we were in our 20s, and so he told me he worked there for 2 years, and he finally tells me, he goes, "Yeah, man, I'm doing really good with sales," and I'm like, "That's awesome, man." I'm like, so he goes, "Yeah." So what I do is, if people come in, and I'll make one camera, I'll change the settings on the camera and make it work bad, but not crazy bad, and I'll show it to them, and I'll go, tell them this is a decent camera, yeah, it's a good camera. And he goes, but this one here, I like it better, and he shows them on the TV, like he'll show them what the
Show them a good
picture looks
picture,
like.
yeah.
Yeah. And then he'll go, it's got the Barrising type. And they never ask what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that very matter-of-factly.
It's got the Barrison type.
Yeah. And he made it up.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
when he said that, people just assumed
That they
he-
were ignorant.
that they didn't know what it was, and he knew what he was talking about,
yeah,
and
it's a good
it's
thing.
techie and it's good.
He assumed they knew. It was so obvious.
So
and
then
they were embarrassed.
The
even
other
to
guys
say
that
anything.
worked there started saying it. It became a thing.
Oh my
Got
God.
the Barrising
And
type.
he's like, he just would throw that term out, and people ate it up, and they bought it.
I wonder what they said though. Was somebody called them out on it? Somebody must have once or twice. I wonder what they would have said.
He didn't go into details with me about that. I mean, apparently it didn't matter.
Apparently, yeah.
You know, I'm
Or
sure
it didn't happen.
can-
I remember like Randy. We were at an event with Randy, and he did a card trick or whatever, and he was explaining how he did the card trick.
Yeah.
Right. And somebody in the audience says, "What if someone asks to see the cards because it was a rigged deck?"
Mhm.
And he says, "If they do that, you have already failed."
Yeah.
Right. That, like
Ah.
the trick of being a magician is no one is ever going to ask to see the deck of cards.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
Yeah.
It's all the social manipulation of people so they don't ask. You know,
Yeah.
the question that
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That
That
yeah.
is.
I vaguely remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, like they do the plastic
funny 'cause
wrap,
you weren't
right? Isn't
there.
that the plastic?
Was I there?
No.
Oh, you must have told the story.
I'm told you the story.
Yeah.
Only Perry and I were there for that particular event.
Randy had hundreds of those.
Yeah.
You know, pieces of wisdom and anecdotes, and I would love to see him do his show again, like one of the shows we saw.
Yeah. He was very good. He was a
So-
great entertainer.
So fun.
But again, it's all about the aura. It's about
I got Nora.
yeah. You have to make them think you're magical. You know.
You know, part of it too is like, I think most people know they're in there and they're watching magic. It's more
Yeah.
like, how'd they do that?
Well, yeah.
You know, like you're not going to go up to a magician and be like, let me see that ring that you're passing.
That's the thing. So this is something else that not only Randy but other magicians in the skeptical movement that we've worked with have told us is that part of the trick also is you have to give them some way to think that they understand how the trick is being done.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they think, oh, the trick is done this way, then they won't look for the way it's really done.
Right.
But if they think
Preserves
they don't know
your
it all,
secret.
they're still looking to see how it was done. So Randy said, I think this is a direct quote, it's like whatever way you think they're doing the trick, that's not the way they're doing it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because they made you think that that's the way they're doing the trick.
When we
By
saw
what they
Probably-
said
probably
or
on
what they
purpose,
moved
yeah.
on purpose. They throw in these little details that are completely irrelevant to the trick itself, but they distract you or they lead you down this path to thinking, whatever. Like this is all mentalism when it's not mentalism. It's really physical manipulation, or it's physical manipulation when it's not. It's mentalism. Whatever path they lead you down. That's not how they're doing
Yeah,
the trick.
that's
Or the
cool.
trick was already done.
Mm-hmm.
Before you're even aware that there is a trick, it was already done.
Yeah.
Whatever the thing they needed to do has already happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it didn't happen, they don't do the trick, and you never know the difference.
Right.
You
Yeah.
only know it when the things line up. They do it, and you think that's impossible. How could that have happened?
Yeah.
Because you didn't know that they had 20 things lined up, and they only did the things that worked.
Yeah, patterns that only are revealed if you would watch many shows. Could you potentially
right.
for some types of magic?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you don't want to do the same tricks over and over again, because that people see the patterns. Oh,
Yeah.
why does he do that irrelevant thing every time?
Every time,
Yeah.
right?
You know, since the internet and since YouTube and everything, I love watching magic tricks and reveals. I like to see how they do it, and I try to guess before they show the reveal, and I just don't have the capacity to figure it out. Like card tricks I know enough about where sometimes I can figure out like where the trick actually happens, but for the most part, I mean, you sitting there going, oh yeah, I know how they did that. Oh yeah, I know how they did that. Like I don't know. Do you know?
It depends on the card trick. I know some because they've been explained to me or I read them or whatever, but other ones.
Like when we
I have
saw
no
Banachek
idea.
at TAM.
He's good.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some mediocre magicians who are like, this is.
Well, he's a
how this is
mentalist.
Yeah, even that includes mentalism.
But I know,
Yeah.
but it's different. You need
I
to
know,
say
but
that.
I'm including that. But we saw a mentalist at one of the TAMs. I won't say his name, who was just not as good as Banachek. He was fine. He was entertaining. But like halfway through a trick, I'm like, oh, this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what this is. And you know what I mean? It just wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Just wasn't. It's hard. It's hard to be that good. Whereas Banachek's on a trick, like, how the hell did he do
Yeah,
that? I know it's a trick. I know obviously he's a skeptic, and I know some nuts and bolts of mentalism, and still I have no
Yeah.
idea how he pulled
Yeah,
that
and
off.
that's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And his tricks were complicated in the sense that, there was a lot going
Yeah.
on, and he reaches far, meaning he does
Yeah.
something where you're like, oh my God, you really have that, like, how the hell?
And Randy was so good too. Sometimes I remember he did that dice trick. Remember he did that?
Do it
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
And he would boom, boom. He would change the faces of the dice. He was so good at it. And then he showed us how he did it. Like, you were doing that right in front of
Yeah.
my face, and I had no
Yeah.
idea.
I practiced that. It's not that
It's-
hard to do it, but
It's hard to do it well.
He was
though.
so
That's the
good.
thing.
Yeah, he was completely refined with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
trick.
some prestidigitation is really slick
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's not.
Right.
The
Sleight of hand is
They want
only-
you to think that. Again,
Right.
if you think that's what the trick is, it's probably not what the
Yeah, I've
trick
seen
is.
some sleight of hand online, and it's amazing. It's a skill. I could imagine them spending, years making it so smooth that they're doing things that you're like, how could you switch that card and in front of my eyes and I'm not even
Yeah.
seeing it? It's pretty.
That's what David Copperfield told us when we interviewed him for
Yeah.
the show. He said the trick is nobody would ever think that somebody would waste that much time on something so stupid.
Yeah.
That's the trick. That is the essence of magic.
Yep.
He was so much fun to talk to.
That was a great interview. That's
Yeah, it
that's
really
like a
was.
top 5 interview right
He
there.
was Did I ever tell you? I must have said this, but I tell you that I accidentally called him after we.
butt dialed him?
Butt called him?
I fucking butt dialed
Jay,
him.
you butt dialed us like yesterday. You
I know.
butt dial people
I do.
all the
I don't know
time.
how you do that with an iPhone.
I butt dialed George like crazy.
It's like
so I,
I know it is.
magic.
You because you put the phone away without
Put it in your front pocket.
pausing the phone,
it
without
in your back pocket?
silencing the phone.
I don't know what I
Yeah,
do.
close
But
it.
I
It's
butt,
right.
I
Pocket
butt
from now
dialed
on.
him, and it has haunted me ever since. Because every time I remember it, what
you-
is that?
you cringe?
What causes the cringe? I literally go, "Oh God damn it!" I go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I
There's
did
a few
that."
things in my life when I think about it. There's a visible effect
Yeah.
and visceral.
and visceral
God.
and visible. It's like, how did I fucking do that in 5th grade? That poor.
Why him though?
Ah.
I've got a few hundred people that
What was your butt up to?
I call George at least once a week, and I call Bob's wife Liz multiple times a week,
Yeah.
and she just laughs. Like, and George usually sings to me. He'll like sing, and I might hear it, and then he tries to guess what I'm doing. And sometimes he'll be like, "Were you doing this?" I'm like,
Oh man.
Actually, speaking of that, the deception of the magic, I have a video. I want to try not to get copy struck for it, but let's see if we can watch a little bit of this. It's from Justin Willman. He's a pretty famous magician on Netflix. But anyway, he's got this box. I'm not going to play the audio because
What's
maybe
in the
that
box?
won't. Yeah, basically, what's in the box? He asks somebody to help him out. He throws a frisbee at somebody and says, okay, give me a personal, like a first crush. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. First name, last name. She spells it out. And then he pulls the name, blah, blah, blah. He does a whole setup. We've never met before, presumably that she's not a plant. He opens the box that's taped up. Okay, opens it, pulls out a paper with their name.
"She's a plant."
So what do you think? What do you guys think?
She's a plant.
She's a plant is one option.
Or they surreptitiously recorded people talking, and they maybe like asked them that specific question or something.
Could
and
be
they
a hot
recorded
reading.
it.
Could be a hot
Could
read.
hot,
a
yeah.
hot read.
Or
That's true.
he has an accomplice who hears the name, prints it out, feeds it through the bottom of the box. There you go.
Yeah.
So feeds it through the bottom.
Right.
So like a printer
Real
in the
time.
box.
Yeah,
is
it's
what
real
somebody
time.
So let's see what it is. Somebody in the audience says, "You got a theory, white hat guy. What's your name, Nick?" There's a printer connected to Wi-Fi, and he shows this. There it is. There's
It's
the
a printer. Smart.
So it's
Nice.
deceptive, small printer. He kind of tried to make it not seem like it was the printer, I guess, because it's all taped up.
But it
yada,
wasn't
yada,
the
yada.
printer, was it?
Well, ha ha.
Yeah,
Here's this.
There's another layer here.
Here's the other layer. He picks this up. Let's start the show. It's a paper. It's like a cardboard
Not a
printer.
printer.
It's not a printer.
Nice.
It's not a printer.
But that's part of what you were saying. He made you, think
Right.
that it is that deception, then circumvented it
Right.
by showing it's not.
At least now we finally know what was in the box.
What's in the box?
And Ian,
Fucking printer.
It's
on
my printer in
my,
the box.
my first
A
critique
fake
of the
printer.
printer
Fake in the
concept, my first critique of that printer was like, I've never been in front of a printer that didn't make any noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even that
Ever.
small.
Yep,
You would
and
have
fast.
Yeah.
And kind of fast. Mm-hmm. Well, they got fast ones, but not. I don't know.
That was good. That's a great.
That's a
So
fun
my,
trick.
my,
Yeah.
my hypothesis still is in play then.
Yeah. But what, a plant, or they were hot reading? Was that what?
No,
it
no,
was?
like it was somebody, an accomplice off stage prints it out as soon as she says the name and somehow gets it into that box.
I think Facebook probably served them better than anything. Because he knew what
But
question to ask.
But all right, so then you have to also assume that he knew she was going to catch the frisbee.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's tougher.
Which is possible. He may be so good that he like made. But how do you know somebody who's going to grab it from
Right.
her?
No, that's
Like,
that's
that's
probably
too
not
much
it.
of a variable. You can't leave
There's
anything to
yeah.
chance.
There's a little.
It's got to
sh-
work 100% of the time.
There's a little shtick here when she first grabs it. He's like, "You just robbed that guy of that frisbee."
Oh, that's bullshit. That's
so
it.
look, he grabs it. He grabs it, and then he like kind of stumbles it maybe, or he gives it to her. You know, so it could be like a plant of 6 people in there, and they all just give it to her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a quad,
That
you know,
makes
a
sense.
pod of
Well,
people.
that's true.
And
It
he
could
just
be
throws
6
it
plants.
at.
Yeah, sure.
Throws
and
it
he
at
could
all
throw
of
it.
them.
He could
to
probably
a
rely-
group of people that doesn't leave anything to
So
chance.
And she's pregnant supposedly, you know, and so like they're like, oh well, I'm gonna give it to the pregnant
Wait
lady.
a
You know
minute.
what I mean?
Maybe
So they can
she's
kinda
got
go
a
with it.
printer in her belly.
She's the printer. She literally is printing humans.
Or it's something so stupid we would
Right.
never think of
Right.
it. Right. It's like so obvious and
So
stupid
obvious.
our brain would never go
like
there.
like
It's
hide your
fun.
valuables in your house. The first 10 things you come up with, don't ever put them there because the thieves thought of the same
We put
one.
them under
Yeah.
the bed.
So we had a shtick with the Skeptical Extravaganza that we ran for a year or so, where we did a hot reading on
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
in the audience, and it worked.
It worked, man.
It worked. It was really cool.
Basically snooping on people on the internet.
Yeah,
Like,
because you go to
what
Facebook
information
or whatever,
do you
social
give?
media, man, you could find out.
Didn't you do the hot reading on live on stage?
I think I
behind their
did it
back?
one time,
one time.
actually live,
So the
and then I
audience can
did a
see
couple
it.
times
Could
where I
see us doing the
pre-recorded
hot
it,
reading.
so I could speed it up. Yeah, I
Yeah.
sped the first time I like got all their information and I just like knew what I was gonna circle and like did it live. But yeah, the other times I just had like pre-recorded videos.
Yeah, so they're sitting facing out to
Away.
the audience on the stage,
Yeah.
so they can't see the screen, and then they can see how we're doing it, and then as it goes, Steve and George are asking them, you know, giving them the answers to particulars about them.
Yeah, so the audience is like laughing
Yeah.
though at weird points when I'm just
It's
like
fun.
doing stuff. It was fun. It was a good idea. It's just it was a lot. There was a lot of work.
logistically heavy.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff.
And
But
also, too, what, you know, good takeaway for a skeptic is be careful what information you put on the web.
that's the biggest thing.
That
Actually,
ship is
Keep it
sailed.
real.
yeah.
Did you guys know that Alien Earth dropped?
Oh yes, that's
They
right.
did.
The TV
What is
show,
that?
right? Isn't
It's
that
a,
a TV show?
it's a new series. But it's in the Alien universe before the first movie.
Is that the one with the hit
it?
girl in it?
Oh.
The actress who played hit girl?
Oh. I don't know. But
I saw the previews of her,
yeah, me too,
her
me
in
too.
an alien show. So, is that
so
it?
now this is another show I got to watch.
All right.
So it looks good.
Was it Chloe Grace Moretz
Yeah,
or something
She's
like
awesome, man. Hit
That?
Girl.
So this is Alien
was great
comes
as
to
Hit
Earth,
Girl.
right? Like
They
Alien
should have done a
crashes on Earth.
prequel. Right after that first movie, they should have immediately done a prequel and then a sequel. The sequel, they did do a sequel, and she was in it, and she
But
was.
they should have done a third one. It's still not too late to do a third.
I think she's done. She's done with this with
Come
that
on.
series.
The
Come on,
one-
face it. That's the best role you'll ever have. Lean into it.
The next
She's a
one,
good actress.
Well,
She's
Hit
done some
Girl
good shit.
is an awesome character.
Oh my god!
And her dad, played by
dad-
Nick Cage. Like
Oh my
Nick
God.
Cage can make movies that
Cage.
are so bad you want to punch him.
Ugh,
and every
Bangkok
once in a while
Dangerously.
he does a role, and you're like, oh
Bangkok
my god, he did a
Dangerously.
great job with
Yeah.
that. Like he did such a good job with
Yeah,
that
they
character.
should have done a prequel.
What's
because-
your favorite
He's a
role?
national
of Nick
treasure.
Cage?
Of Nick Cage?
Oh,
Oh,
man.
definitely Moonstruck.
Yeah, Moonstruck. I knew you were
Moonstruck.
gonna say that.
Not Raising Arizona or whatever. Isn't
He
Raising-
took my hand. He took my bride. Johnny has his hand. Johnny has his bride. You want me to put my harnick on the shelf and forget?
Very good.
Oh
Jay.
man.
Very good.
Yeah, he's watched that a few times.
He's I don't know. He's the best.
What? Only Murders in the Building. Is that that
Oh.
thing dropped? No, new season.
There's a new season, Only Murders in the
trailer
Building.
dropped.
Yeah.
Trailer.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
a good
that's a
show
good
too. That's
show.
surprisingly good.
That's a good show. I think we missed one of the TikToks. I think this was not actually the one. Were you
Oh.
going to do the allergies, or we could say
No.
It's after 2, man. I'm hungry.
All right, let's get out of here. Yeah, we have no bread, so might as well get out of here. All
Yeah.
right. So Steve is going to do some,
gonna do some
TikToks. We got RNG, MS, and Germs. Those are the 3 TikToks, everybody. So
All
thanks for
right.
staying with us. We will switch over to the TikTok thing. Here's some hold music to buy you.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye, people.
All right, say bye to Jay, everybody. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. And then if you could... Yeah, you scoot to the middle where Jay is. And then I think we might actually already be set up with the new camera setup.
Alrighty. See you tonight, Steve.
See you tonight.
Thank you, Ian. Good job.
All right, see ya. Oh, you know what? Can you move that mic out of the way? Yeah, thank you.
Here we go.
Steven, you and Ian are done. I'll be on my phone in 3
Call me on my
that where
cell
you're gonna
phone.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff. We got studio stuff to talk about, y'all. More studio stuff in the works, as y'all know. Never an end to what's... Bob just screamed, holy crap, what the hell? Wait, is this guy... There it is. You want to do the random number generator guy
Sure.
first? All right.
Dean Radin.
The Raiden. The Peripheral was great. The Peripheral? I don't know what that is. I don't think I've ever heard that one. Let's see.
The Peripheral. She was good. The show was
Was not.
all right. Kind of lost it. I'm not surprised it was canceled. Didn't hold my interest.
Alrighty. Tush. Bye, Jay. Alright. Let me switch back to this. Alright, we got that going. That's unmuted. Alright, here we go.
One type of random number generator experiment that's been conducted many, many times, hundreds of times, over the past 4 decades or so, since around the 1960s, has been a random generator that only produces sequences of random bits, zeros and ones, like flipping coins. And you would simply ask somebody to press a button. It would produce 200 bits. And you would ask them to say, well, try to make it produce more 1 bits than 0 bits. And when you take the entire body of literature, all of the hundreds of experiments that have been done, you can ask a single question. Did it matter that people were trying to push it towards ones or push it towards zeros? And the overall answer is yes, it does matter. That somehow intention is correlated with the operation, with the output of these random number generators, such that if you wish for more ones, somehow the generators produce more ones.
Try to look at the second camera, not
The
the
upper right.
the one that's upper
From my
right.
perspective, the
Yeah.
upper right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
You're right.
All right.
All right, good.
So that was Dean Radin, who is a known proponent of extrasensory perception, ESP, telepathy, etc. And he's not characterizing the evidence correctly. So yes, there have been lots of experiments looking at these random number generators to see if you could influence it mentally. Of course, there's no known mechanism by which this could happen. And it's a perfect example of why scientists are not compelled by this research. We do not find it convincing for a lot of reasons. First of all, there's no single study with tight criteria, tight methodology, that with good statistical power that shows a clear effect, right? There's always these either no effect, it's down in the statistical noise, maybe there may be a slight, like a really tiny effect size that might just eke over to statistical significance. Just a little bit of p-hacking is all that's necessary for that to occasionally happen. Or you just do a bunch of series and you just publish the ones that happen to be slightly positive, right? The effect sizes are so small, it makes it very easy to do that. And of course, if you look at just all the published studies and only the published studies, there might be a slight effect size because there's just a tiny bit of publication bias would give that to you. So no, this is not convincing evidence. This shows all the telltale signs of the null hypothesis, of a hypothesis that is not true. This is most consistent with what we would expect to see if ESP is not real. Only teeny effect sizes, they don't replicate, you get inconsistent results, and there isn't any clear effect here. So Dean Radin just doesn't know how to properly interpret the literature. If you do proper systematic review type analysis, this does not show convincing evidence that the laws of physics are being broken here.
Alrighty. RNG. Simple.
Yeah, it's just cherry picking random noise. That's another way to put it. But you could do it so many times that it's easy to get really big statistical power, which means you can make even teeny tiny effect sizes seem significant.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's move on back to
what are we doing
this
next?
One is germs have never been proven to cause illness or disease. All right, here we go.
Okay, I'm about to blow some minds and also piss a lot of people off. Typical for me. Did you know that germs have never been proven, scientifically proven, to be the cause of any illness? I'm not saying we don't have germs, that they don't exist. I'm not saying that. They do. But blaming bacteria, fungus, mold for illness, for disease, has never happened in a scientific study. In fact, they failed so badly that they stopped doing those studies, like I think in the 40s or something, or 50s. Blaming them for disease and illness is like blaming firefighters for showing up and putting out a fire. Nature is brilliant and has these mechanisms built in that help us to clean up decay, help us clean up dead and dying tissue. So when bacteria are present, if there's a plethora of bacteria in the body, they're there for a reason. They're doing something. And yes, they may cause some symptoms, but they're a symptom in and of themselves. And please don't just take my word for it. By all means, go through the plethora of rabbit holes on this topic.
That's probably good, right?
Yeah, that's more than enough.
Here we go.
Yeah, please don't listen to her. Look at the plethora of scientific studies that have been published, demonstrating objectively that viruses, bacteria, fungi, amoeba, etc., can and do cause illness. I remember from history, that back in the 1800s and earlier, they used to think that pus in a wound was a good sign. It was a sign that the wound was healing. Rather, we, of course, know now that it's a sign that the wound is infected. That's a very, very bad sign. This idea that the germs are the cleanup crew, or they're just there, naturally, or that, the same bacteria could be infectious at some time and not at others. So that's all germ denial propaganda, basically. So she makes a very specific claim that there's no scientific study that proves that a germ causes an illness. And that is patently, provably wrong. There are many, many viruses and bacteria, for example, where we have smoking gun evidence that they cause illness. And we have developed specific criteria as to what is sufficient proof of that agent being the cause of the illness, because scientists are skeptical and they're scientific and they ask questions like, does that virus just happen to be there, or is it opportunistic, or is it actually causing the illness itself? And they answer that question by doing certain specific things. Like, for example, you have to isolate the virus or the bacteria in sick individuals, right? Obviously, if it's not present, it can't be the cause. But also, you need to be able to transfer the illness by transferring the virus or the bacteria. So if you take serum that has the virus in it from an infected mouse, for example, and you inject it into another mouse, they get the illness, right? That's pretty good evidence that it's causing the illness. You have to be able to transfer it. And we've gone way deeper than that. We, of course, now can genetically sequence the virus or the bacteria. We know how it works. We can look at proteins, for example, that give it the ability to get into cells or to evade the immune system. We could see the effect of changing those genes, changing those proteins on its ability to infect and replicate and cause symptoms, and the toxins that they release that causes specific release. Mountain of evidence showing that specific viruses and bacteria and parasites and amoeba, etc., and fungus cause specific illnesses. And it's actually causative. We have isolated them. We have shown definitively that they are infectious and cause infectious illness. Not all disease, of course. That's a bit of a straw man, but infectious illness, yes. And for those that we can treat, we can give antibiotics, for example, to kill bacteria or stop them from growing. That treats the illness. That's pretty good evidence too. For some viruses, we have antivirals. We now have pretty effective treatment for HIV, the human immunodeficiency virus, and survival with HIV has dramatically improved with modern treatment, with antiviral treatment, dramatically improved. So what she is saying is just patently wrong. Completely objectively wrong. take a look at the scientific evidence, it is overwhelming.
Alrighty, we got germs. We got germs, y'all.
Germs.
They're everywhere.
She's some kind of nutritional, holistic bullshit
Probably,
artist, whatever. You know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Of course. I'm going to piss people off with my factually incorrect statements. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, duh. All right. Anyway, here we go. Recognize that background. Yeah, here we go. Stand by.
Have our 6th case of multiple sclerosis that was totally put into remission. It took 90 days to put him in remission. It was a
Really?
lieutenant. Yeah, it's a video up on.
And what's the protocol that did that?
The protocol is the nutraceutical that drops the inflammation and replacing the hormones that are deficient that protect the brain.
What is in the nutraceutical?
In the nutraceuticals, there is quercetin. You know about quercetin. It's got DHA from omegas. It has in it glutathione, N-acetylcysteine. It's got B12. That's on one component of it. The other component has B1, B2, which deals with neural communication. And then it's got PQQ and CoQ10. PQQ is a form of CoQ10. It's a sister. And it's 100 to 1,000 times stronger, but it's what it does. It increases mitochondrial function. I know you've had a lot of people here talking about mitochondrial function, and that's a major piece in how to reverse things like neurodegenerative diseases and improve mental functioning. I mean, products like you have.
So this guy's making bold claims. There's no published evidence to show that any of this is true, so you shouldn't believe it. First of all, just to clarify, MS is not a neurodegenerative disease. I mean, I'm not saying he's saying that, but he's using these terms apparently interchangeably there. It's a pretty well-studied and understood autoimmune inflammatory disease. And it takes pretty powerful anti-inflammatory treatments to affect it. But we do have modern treatments that can pretty effectively put MS into remission, can limit the progression of MS, can limit the exacerbations of MS. Not in every case. There are still some types that are very treatment resistant. But what's this guy saying? I mean, he's got to make a specific claim here. So he doesn't say what type of MS. I know this is just an interview, not a paper, but he hasn't really published the kind of research that you can evaluate objectively. But you'd need to know what kind of MS. There's something called relapsing remitting MS, where you get a relapse and then you remit for weeks, months, years. So saying they went into remission after 90 days is kind of a meaningless statement when you're talking about relapsing remitting MS. You would have to be talking about chronic progressive MS. But even then, 90 days is a kind of a short time span. Based upon what criteria? Were you looking at serial MRI scans to see how much activity there is in the brain? That's a criteria that's frequently used in scientific MS studies. It's really helpful to be able to see what's actually happening in the brain. Or are you just talking about subjectively that patients feel better? Or did you do some kind of standardized neurological exam to score them on exactly what they're able to do and not do, where their function is? I've done those studies myself. I've done those tests on patients as part of MS protocols. It's very specific. It's very, complicated. It's, that you have to do that in order to be able to make any kind of reliable statement about how patients are doing. But just giving them a bunch of supplements basically and saying that they went into remission without publishing good scientific evidence is beyond irresponsible, right? So you just don't believe this kind of stuff. There's no conspiracy out there. I know personally many MS doctors who are excellent. They're excellent doctors. They're excellent people. They are earnestly spending their career trying to figure out how to understand and treat and cure this very serious neurological illness. And they're exploring every possible avenue. This guy has not cured MS with his bullshit supplements. Just don't believe it.
All right. That's about it for this week, everybody. So, all
right. So I guess I'm talking about lithium and Alzheimer's.
Lithium. It seems like that's what the people want.
That was the final.
That was the final. Let me look at the actual final
number.
Let me see. Final number Yep, 48%. Pretty much what
48%.
we were like kind of hovering around before.
But that means 52% want me to talk not about that, though.
That's a good point. Yes, that's true. That's the majority don't want that. Yeah, so I mean, the second highest was what was it? It was
Nuclear.
this nuclear. Nuclear. I did say nuclear moon, so maybe they're thinking it's something different.
Well, it's nuclear.
Like we're gonna
it's the
blow up
mini
the moon.
nuclear.
Yeah, I know. I just
Yeah.
just in
I
case.
may talk briefly about that as like a quickie or something.
Yeah,
or
sure.
we'll
Why
see.
not? But lithium Alzheimer's, that seems like people
That'll
are
be the
into
primary
it.
one. All right.
And also,
sounds good.
you did write about it, so probably that is part of why
I
people
read about
are excited
nuclear
about it.
too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So there you go. So all of the above.
Either
chat.
one.
Either one. All right. Well, thanks for joining us,
All right.
everybody.
Thanks. Yep. Thanks for
We
joining us.
will-
We'll see you on Friday, I guess.
That's
We're doing the
right.
Friday live stream.
I think so. I don't know if we have any guests this week, but maybe we can snag a guest. But we have the quorum back in session, I guess. It's Jay is back.
The usual crowd.
The
But yeah, we'll see.
usual-
Maybe we could see if someone's
We can
available.
steal somebody. People
Brian
definitely
hasn't
loved
been
when
on in a while.
Kara and Andrea were there. That was very fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun last
Yeah.
week.
All right. If you find anything else, chat, feel free to tag us on TikTok or Instagram. You can email it in to info@theskepticsguide.org, or you can fill it out in the contact form. Become a patron at patreon.com/skepticsguide. And I think that's it.
All right.
Have a good one,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thanks, Ian.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.